That's right. Good evening. Sorry. Good evening. Welcome to the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, of course, the wide world of sports. And folks, I am sorry to bring you this sad show tonight. I must stick up for Giant Nation. I must hold people accountable who dared to defy the great Gettleman when he made two bold choices. The taking of Saquon Barkley with the number 2 pick. And a couple years later, the bold move for Gettleman drafting his quarterback, the future of the franchise, our soon-to-be elite-level quarterback, Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes to us. I must hold my partner accountable for all the negativity, for all the bad things, for saying to trade these gentlemen, that Gettleman should be flogged and fleeced and beaten and caned. And the great Gettleman was right. It is coming to fruition. His first year gone. The Giants are back. And for Jeff to get out to come back into the good graces of the show, he must now sing the Giant Fight song. And for you who don't know, here is the Giant Fight song.
Go Big Blue, go Giants. Go Big Blue, New York Giants. Go Big Blue, Super Bowl Giants. Go Big Blue, go Giants. New York and New Jersey, going crazy. Big Blue, Super Bowl baby. G Nation, stand proud. From the heart, shout it out loud now. Go Big Blue, go Giants. Go Big Blue, New York Giants. Go Big Blue, Super Bowl Giants. Go Big Blue, go Giants.
Now, I'm going to let on my partner in crime, my dear friend of 40 years plus. And let's hope that I don't have to have Giant Nation rain holy hell down on him like he deserves. Let's see if he'll kneel at the altar of Big Blue and repent his sinning ways. Jeff?
Hold on, I'm looking at something. All right.
Let me know when you're ready.
What's up?
We at Giant Nation want to know, will you be singing the Big Blue fight song that I just played for you? Will you repent and kneel at the altar of Gettleman, who now has been shown the wisdom and greatness that he was?
Tomorrow I got to get up. I got to order some of this. My beard conditioner from Beard Hemp. The Hemp
Wizard Beard Care Co. Our good buddies,
good
Joe,
and this is our
Mike.
signature scent.
Yes, we're looking forward to the Audible.
Sunday Audible show, which is now known as the Audible.
That is correct.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
But you're skirting the issue, Mr. Tolwinski. Will you acknowledge your past sins and how wrong you were about not only the Giants, a couple of players in particular, but the great Gettleman? It's a simple question. Or does Giant Nation have to rain down holy hell on you? Folks, let it be written, so let it be done. Whatever happens from here.
The last thing I'm afraid of,
yes,
is a bunch of fucking people with the IQ of a paddleball thinking that because they're 3-1 that they're in the corner and have become an elite franchise.
Well, nobody's
Okay.
said we're elite yet, but we're on our way. But if you look at who has vaulted this team to greatness already this season,
Please explain this. You know what? Before you
Yeah.
explain this to me, let
Please.
me. You're the one that put up a point, so let me
Counterpoint.
mount a defense, if you will. Okay.
Please.
Your quarterback,
Yeah.
who's not under contract for next year, is already injured this year. 4 games in,
And we'll be playing this Sunday, by the way.
right.
We will be playing Sunday.
Already injured. So I expect
Okay.
him to be more injured by the time the game is over.
Ah,
And Barkley,
yeah.
who once again goes out there and gets his 100 yards a game, but has an 85-yard run
Oh my
and
God.
rushes for 32 times and a long run of 85 yards, and then the rest of it is 0.03.
You obviously do not watch any of the football games, but go ahead. I will let you have your say.
Listen, I if I want to, I could have more excitement reading the fucking menu from a Chinese place than to watch the Giant game. I would rather voluntarily light my eyeballs on fire after I yanked them out of my head and watch a Giant game.
It is sad, my friends.
When I come home from work on Sunday,
Yes,
do you know what my routine is on Sunday?
I have no idea. I don't have any idea.
Let me give you a quick idea.
Please.
Let me give you a quick insight to my
Give me a
life.
little insight to the world of
This is
Jeff
what I do.
Tolwinski. Yeah.
I come home, I say hello to my wife and the dog. Okay,
Sure,
my
what you
wife
should
has
do.
been home all day. She starts cooking or whatever. So I say I spend a couple minutes with her, and then I open up the iPad and I look and I see what our fantasy team is doing.
Well, and this week
Okay.
not so good, but okay. Most
And,
weeks
and,
not bad.
well, last Sunday not so good, but that's beside the point.
Correct.
So then I go upstairs. Me and the dog go upstairs, and I set the dog up on the bed. And then I say to the dog, I was like, all right, let's put on a football game. And she says, okay. And now she has no eyes, my dog. You know that, correct?
Yes, I do know. Yeah, poor Basil.
And my dog, who turns around and says to me, Dad, you can't watch this. And I'm like, I know, sweetie. I know I can't watch it either because they're just so bad.
Oh my God.
And we find so I would rather watch Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears play than watch the New York Giants.
Well, you could have did both this week if you had turned on the Giant game because that's who they played and they whooped their ass.
Well, because the Giants were playing the Bears, I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Understood. But you will acknowledge that they are 3-1. A record you would absolutely have poo-pooed had I mentioned it.
Yes, you're right, and I would have done the same thing to the Jets, who are 2-2. So I don't understand what 3-1 means when it's October
Nothing.
6th, and why we're
It's not
having
the question of what 3-1 means. It's the question of how they are playing. I said from the beginning, I don't care if they win 4 games or 14 games. I want to see a team learning how to win and playing competent football, which they are doing both.
Keep going. I gotta look for something. Go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So-
I can hear you. Keep going.
All right. So beside that, I'll wait till Jeff gets back to continue my Giant rant. But we got a lot to talk about tonight, folks. We really kick off the Hard Rocket Sports Show from tonight, October 6, 2022.
Keep going about the Giants. Go on.
No, I'm busy right now. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to get my dad on in a few minutes. We're going to talk about Aaron Judge's 62 homers. The Yankees winning 99 games. The Mets getting I didn't see Dr. Thumb Chaser at all this week as his Mets went down to Atlanta and got stomped. But the Mets are in the playoffs. They got a wild card series this weekend against the San Diego Padres. We'll pop that up in a few minutes. We'll talk a little bit. We'll talk a lot of baseball tonight.
I want to say something before your old man gets here.
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I just change hats.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay. Let me explain something to you.
Please.
The New York Yankees and their fans should be fucking embarrassed. Okay? Embarrassed.
Why is that now?
Why is that? I'll tell you why that
Please.
is. They should be embarrassed. They were one time leading Major League Baseball by over 10 games, 10 and a half games, 11 games. They didn't even break the 100-game fucking win barrier.
And they still won the division by 10 games.
I don't care how
Okay.
many games they won by. This was a team that everybody had them. They were going to win the fucking World Series. There's no stopping them. Your words exactly what. Oh, they're winning on ways that I could have never imagined.
I agree with that. And I would still say
they
that.
couldn't even break 100 wins. This was a team they got blown out. If from where they were to where they finished is an outright epic collapse.
Wow.
They were
Epic
leading Major League Baseball. Now the Dodgers beat them, bested them by what, 12 games, 11 games?
I think the Dodgers, if I got it right, won 107. So it would have been
No.
double check it because I'm
I won 110.
Let's take a look. You could be right. I thought it was 107, but it's possible. Let's see. I have the stats right here.
111 and 51 for
that is correct. So 12 wins. So yep, absolutely.
685. The Mets finished 2 games ahead of them. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. 99 wins is nothing to
sneeze at.
You know,
absolutely.
To snap at, you finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th place, 12 games out of the overall lead when you were up by 10, 12 games.
That's very, very true. And it doesn't matter. They had a great last month and change of the season. They are primed for the playoffs. And New
York is bleeding orange this year.
Oh,
it's bleeding orange.
The Mets went down to Georgia, my friend, and got smoked.
Yes, they did.
All they had to do was win 1 game.
Yes, you're right.
And I don't see your pal, Dr. Thumb Chaser, anywhere to be found right now.
No. Listen, there's no way to deny that. You gotta say it.
He's got Mets. He's got Jets menus out. I didn't see any Yankees or Mets videos this week. I saw menus for Jets buffets.
Yes, so, I saw the same thing.
The doctor is a fraud. You can tell him I said it. His Maloika did nothing other than ruin the Mets.
What do you
remember, who gave the Mets this the last time he was on? Remember? Who gave the Mets this when the doctor was on the last time? Remember? Don't mess with it. Remember? I gave them the zing. The doctor has disappeared. When I gave him.
First of all, good evening, Lou Pica. How are you?
Lou Pica.
Regardless, all I'm saying to you is that your Yankees didn't finish where you thought they were going to finish. A little bit of embarrassment. You got a little egg on your face there.
Not even the slightest bit.
Why don't you wipe your face off over
not
here?
Even the slightest bit.
That's something else, isn't it?
I am thrilled with my Yankee season.
Is that Saquon's kids?
Saquon is Gettleman is home right now, sipping a big whiskey, saying Saquon, Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, Julian Love, guys who are making big plays on this 3-1 team. Gettleman's got his feet up with a nice hot toddy going, I knew what I was doing. They just didn't pay attention.
Listen, first of all, Gettleman's at home, all right, with his feet up, with his fucking yarmulke on,
whatever,
cursing the Giants up and down because he got fucking fired from them. And
very, very possible. Who do we like tonight's game? Looking to make a wager. Let's see. Let's see. What do we got?
Isn't the Broncos playing?
I think it's the Broncos, who have been horrendous, by the way. Let's see. Tonight is Indianapolis at Denver. Couldn't probably pick a worse game. I would take Denver in this game only because I think Indy is, they're terrible, and they're on the road. I don't like this at all. If I wouldn't touch this game, Lou, but if you're going to do it, I like Denver tonight. But guys, we got a lot to talk about. At the end of it, we got MLB postseason. We got the Mets downfall, but making the playoffs. Jeff McNeil from the Jets wins the batting title by sitting out the last game of the season. We'll talk about that.
Is that 100% true?
That is correct. He was up 326 to 322. The guy who he was competing with played the last game of the season, went 3 for 4, and hit 325. McNeil sat out and didn't play. That's happy horse shit.
I agree with you. Because to me, if I only look at it for me. Yep. Hello, Mike Weissman. How are you?
Mike Weiss.
As somebody that could never, ever compete on any level of professional sports other than maybe pocket pool. And even now at my advanced age, I'd have to be in the senior circuit.
Maybe professional eating, but we'll have to talk about that.
I love how these guys, they want to lock themselves into these things. And by the way, I sent you a couple videos today that I want to talk about also. No, not you. I sent them to both you and John via Facebook Messenger.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I did see them later on. I could bring them up if you need to.
Sure. But you don't have to play them. We'll just talk about them a little later if we get a chance. I think it's disgusting that these guys sit out in order to, like, don't you want to, doesn't your competitive nature take over?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't
Want to
agree more.
defend what's yours or make it yours?
Yeah, I
Take the
mean,
chance.
if he had played and went 0 for 3 or even 1 for 3, would probably have lost the batting title to a guy who played the last game and went 3 for 4. Yeah, I think that's horseshit. That's the same thing as Jose Reyes. Jose Reyes played the last game. I think it was in 2011. Got bunted for a hit and then took himself out of the game to seal the deal. I don't think there's much different with McNeil. If you're happy, listen. If you're happy winning it that way, go for it. I think
that's not winning it. That's not winning.
I agree. Yeah, I think
that's not finishing the race to win it.
I couldn't agree with you more. So we'll talk about that tonight. We got 2 years since Eddie Van Halen passed away. We got Jets and Giants, both teams overachieving maybe, but at least right now in New York sports, you got the Giants and you got the Jets and sorry. You got the Yankees and the Mets in the playoffs, and the Jets and Giants at 500 or better in October. It ain't bad, folks. It ain't bad. So if you're a New York sports fan, boy, it's not bad. Tom Brady's magic ride, carpet ride over? I think it is. We'll talk about that tonight. Tua's concussion. Who should be to blame, and shouldn't he get some of that blame? We got that. Eddie Van Halen. I got the audio calls of the Judge 60-second home run, Jeff. I want you to hear both of them.
Okay, good.
The better one. But we got the show started. Jeff, let's get the show started the right way and get my dad on. But Jeff, first off, how was your week?
Tom, my week was good until today.
So
and
you
I
realized
had
the way
face some malarkey from somebody.
Giant Nation will be raining down. Holy hell. You'll have tree frogs raining down on your house, all sorts of pestilence and violence for you not acknowledging the fact that the great Gettleman.
That was the gayest song I ever heard.
No, the great.
Put a bunch of kids right there on the way home from school in the back of the bus.
All right, now I got to play it for you again now because now I have no choice. You've now just insulted me.
Ground and pound, air it out. Top of the world, talk of the town. Hey, do you believe it now? Do you believe it now? Go Big Blue, go Giants,
go Big Blue. See, now that's a fight song. That's a fight song, my friend.
Dude, that has got to be the fucking worst fucking fight. You got to be kidding. Go Big Blue. Hold on. There's your Giants.
Folks, I apologize. I sincerely apologize.
No reason to apologize.
As a Jet, this is what you get from a Jet fan when he's been
This is how bad the Giants are. That's what I'm comparing the Giants to.
When you get them backed into a corner, this is what you get left. But let's get my dad on.
You should be over here right now.
Maybe he should class up. Maybe he can class up the joint. So let's get my dad on. He always got something good to say. Hold on. There he is. What's up, Pop?
Guys, I'm telling you, man, it's like the Rich Brothers. I know you guys ain't never heard of them. You
I heard of the Rich Brothers.
They were the opposite of the Marx Brothers.
Jeff's only heard of the Rich Crackers.
And listen, I agree with Jeff. Everybody but you knew they couldn't keep playing the Yankees. That was like almost
that was an impossible. They're talking 120 wins. It's impossible now. And I expect them to go on the slide that they did. No.
And a lot of these guys that sit out the games because they have it in their contract that if they get picked for the All-Star game, they get a couple of $100,000. If they win a batting title,
sure, of course,
they get extra money for it. So the only one that I ever heard didn't do that, and I never liked him, was Ted Williams.
Yes,
Ted Williams the last game was a doubleheader, and he was percentage points over 400.
Yeah.
He played the doubleheader, and I think he went 4 for 8 or 5 for 8, whatever. But he wound up with a decent figure, and I respect. I didn't like him as a person, but that you got to respect.
Oh yeah, you tip your cap, Jeff. I mean, if you're Jeff McNeil, I get it. You want the title, but did you really, really win it? Did you really, really earn it? I mean, I get it. If you played 162 games and you wind up with the highest average, but you played 161 as far as I'm concerned.
Dude,
Yeah, but-
listen, if he pulled a muscle or something like that, and his team was going to the playoffs, and he needed the extra day, and he said that he's going to stay home and rest, then it's okay. I don't even know what team he plays for.
The Mets.
What is it?
The
Oh,
Mets.
for the Mets? No, he should have went out and played, and this is the way you win it. Unless there was a reason, an underlying reason why you stayed out and you didn't travel with the team, or you didn't show up at the stadium, whatever it was, because you were injured and your team is going to the playoffs, I could understand that. But if it comes to the playoffs and you could still play regardless of that injury, I could see, for the betterment of the team, sitting out for that game, and then you happen to win the batting title. But nobody's going to believe that anyway. So, but
Yeah.
It might have been an incentive in there, Jeff. If you win the batting title, it's $250,000. Now you wouldn't sit out a game for $250,000. I mean, I know I sit out for a lot less.
I get it, but again, not having to make that decision may be easier for me, for you guys. I don't know, but I still say if you're a competitive ball player, if you're a competitor, you want it. You got to go out there and earn that.
No, I'm sorry.
You got to go out there and earn it. So I'm sorry.
I don't know what his salary is. I don't know what his salary is, but figuring that he gets paid a couple $1 million a year, I know that $250 is a lot of money to us because we probably don't have $250,000 combined. But that's another story. But for these guys that are getting paid a couple $1 million, is $250,000 that much money?
He's making $3 million a year.
But why? Yeah, you know what,
he's
Jeff?
trying to run the borderline with that. Then I guess
You can look at it that way, but then you turn around and say, "Well, look at McGuire, look at Bonds, okay? Look at all these guys."
I get it. I
They
know
were
they
worth
did it
millions. Why did they do it? He didn't do it for the money. He did it because
for the ego.
the prestige. Yes, his ego may have been the same thing. I don't know, but
those guys might have done it knowing the money that was going to come their way after they did what they did.
Absolutely, sure.
It's a little bit of a different story, between endorsements and everything else that they would have made money on. That's what I think with that.
But yeah, if you're Jeff McNeil and you want to truly say you want it, you got to go out and play. Now I'm sure. Listen, nobody's going to look back on it and be different for it. This is just us talking tonight. But for me, you got to go out there and play the game. You got one game left. If you're 10 points up, go ahead, you got it. But to win it by 0.001, because you sat out the game, the other guy went 3 for 4.
Are you serious? That's how much he wanted by 0.001?
Well, think about it, 326 to 325.
Well, yeah, 1 point. Yeah.
I mean,
The way
literally.
you make it sound, I thought it was 0.0001.
Oh, okay, no, but I mean, I get it. You basically won at bat. I mean, that's what it came down to.
I'm sorry, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
0,
sorry.
0, 1. But I mean, that's how close it was. And think about it. Before the game, it was 4 points. It was 326 to 322. Yeah. So Freeman goes 3 for 4, and then you sit. Come on, man. That's total horseshit to me. But
with the guy do that one, the American League one, he sat out almost half of the last games.
Yes, but he was hurt. He
said he was hurt.
I got you, and his team was out of it, so I get it. I mean, listen, do I think it's right? No.
What's the difference?
And listen, and nobody pitched the Judge down the stretch and all that good stuff. So it goes both ways. But that wasn't close on the last game, and you sat. I agree. I don't like the way it was won, but it's still legit. The guy, you can want to say you're hurt. You're hurt. This one I got a problem with. You got to go out there and play the game, Jeff. I'm sorry.
No, listen, I hear you. I hear you, Tom. I'm just, bringing up the flip side of it and everything. You have to think of both sides when you bring up a subject like this, and it's the only acceptable way of why you would sit out a game.
Yeah,
you go into the playoffs and you want to be healthy for the playoffs. It's one thing to be in the playoffs and play injured to help your team, but until you're actually in the playoffs, if you don't need to play, that's another story. But you know what? I do agree to win the batting title, but he should have done the right thing. Even if he got one at bat, and he was like, "Oh no, that's it. I'm playing one time around, and that's it."
Yeah, listen, I get it, but all right. So we won't link on this.
It just, I'm sorry, but it just proves that today's athlete doesn't look at the game the same way.
I agree,
and that's what hurts baseball.
I agree, but I think that down the stretch, I think a lot of people were paying attention to Judge and the 62
Judge, right.
homers, and I think it was good for the game. I thought that I didn't think they made a big enough deal out of it, although I guess it's just technically the American League record, so it's not like the overall record. But I didn't think baseball at the game did enough to acknowledge it.
I think it was tarnished.
Yeah.
That's my own opinion. I think it was very tarnished. And again, it used to be if you hit 60 home runs, you were the best.
Yeah.
Right. And I think because of what happened with they can't do anything against the National League with McGuire and Bonds.
No, they can't.
Or whatever.
No, they can't.
But here, so that's why they kept calling it American League. And some idiot would get up and say, yeah, but they didn't hit. Well, you can't prove it. You know he did it, but you can't prove it. But that takes away everything, batting titles. There's no more records anymore that are legit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I think that, you used the word tarnished, and I agree with you, but I don't think that it was that the home run chase was tarnished. I don't think they wanted to tarnish Barry Bonds in his position. I don't think they wanted to open up that can of worms. And I think they were kind of happy that it's silently he got his 62 home runs, and everybody made sure to say, oh, he's going after the American League record.
Oh, yeah. Yankee record, American League record, yeah.
There was a clip I sent you, Tom, today about that, of how they asked the baseball commissioner what he feels and what he thinks should happen.
And he said everybody should make up their own opinion, their own mind on it.
So that means if I go in and I have one home run,
that means you ain't got nuts.
You got to be
You ain't got nuts. I'm sorry. That's bull. everybody know. If anybody tells me that Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa,
there's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of people, baseball fans.
And they don't know baseball. They don't know baseball.
Listen. I saw guys today arguing over whether Judge should win the MVP. That Ohtani had a better season. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Who did? Who?
Ohtani.
Japanese.
What did he do, Ohtani?
Ohtani was like he won 15 games as a pitcher and hit 34 home runs, and his team finished like 20-something games out of first place.
Listen, the guy sets an American League record for home runs.
Yeah, just missed
had a good season without a doubt, and he does something very unique.
Yep.
But he'll probably get the Cy Young Award, maybe. I don't know.
But I mean, here's the thing: even if it's and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you can also say Judge did something that really only a few people have done, hitting 60 homers.
2 people have done it.
Yeah, and then he almost won a Triple Crown. He led the league in home runs and in RBIs. Just missed the batting average.
He ended up finishing tied for RBIs for what? Peter?
No, he was no. Maybe you know what?
Yeah, he's had 131 RBIs, bro.
Yes, again, but it's by league. Triple Crown can be won in both leagues.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
I got to bring it up. I think that Pete Alonso's 131 is more impressive than Aaron Judge because he only had 40 home runs.
Okay, I can see what you're saying.
Let me say this. I've been thinking about this all week.
Sure.
And I'll give this to anybody if they want to challenge it. You put up 2 columns, okay? 2 columns, one with Ohtani and one with Judge. Now, if you take Judge out of the Yankee lineup, so the Yankees finish 9-10 games in front of first place. No, they may still win the division, but it may be a run or 2. Now, let's flip the coin, go to the other one, Ohtani. Okay, put him up there. Take him out of the Angels lineup.
Yep.
Okay, for 7 years they finished under 500.
Yep.
Now, if they took him out, would they still finish under? Of course they would.
Yes, they would. Sure.
You'd have to be a fool to say no, but
Absolutely.
they would still finish in last place. So now the MVP is not, but it's not where you see. Everybody says the MVP is for the best player. It's not for the best player. It's the most valuable player.
Correct.
Now, is Ohtani being the most valuable player if he's playing on a team for 7 years that lost? No.
Nope.
Under 500, of course not. I mean, anybody you could put me on the team and finish under 500.
I couldn't agree.
Angels have sucked for years, though, haven't they?
8 years they've been out of the playoffs.
And not only that, I mean, they finished 4 games, more than 4 games, 16 games under 500, and 33 games out of first
And
place.
how could you call him
With
MVP?
him on the team.
Yeah.
With him on the team.
That's the point.
That's the
the
point I'm bringing out.
Yeah.
I understand that, but the point
Now, if you're
is
going to
that-
tell me if he's Jeff, if you're going to tell me he's a great ball player, I'll agree with you. But if you're going to tell me he's valuable, now you got to define to me what valuable means.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's everybody's definition of valuable is something different.
Yeah.
Nobody laid a defined
guess.
rule on
It
it.
must
And
be.
if you finished, it just ask this: would they have finished 50 games out of first place if he wasn't there on
It
that
didn't
team?
matter though.
But yeah.
It really
But no,
matter.
it didn't matter because they didn't have a chance finishing 33 games.
Yeah,
out
but
of
this
first
is like
place.
8 years in a row. It ain't one year where somebody got hurt and he didn't. You're
And
talking
what
about
is
a
he
guy
on that
that
team for like 3 or 4 seasons already?
Yeah, he's there 3 or
Yeah.
4 years now.
and
Yeah.
they finished under 500 all the time. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he's a great ball player. Now, if you want to have most valuable and great ball player, that's 2 awards. I understand that. But if you're going to tell me that he was more valuable to his team than Judge was, then I got to question your ability to understand baseball because that's not a valuable player. I go back to the old story with Ralph Kiner. He finished with 58 home runs or something. He went into Pittsburgh to the owner and said, I want to raise. The guy said, why? He said, I just hit 50-something home runs. And he said, yeah, but we finished in last place. He said, yeah, but look what I did. He said, I can finish in last place without you. I don't need you to help me go in last. And he was right.
Yeah.
He said it sarcastically, but he was right. He said, I can finish in last place without you.
See,
No, that's 100% right. That's being completely honest. It may have been
Yeah.
sarcastic, but he's being completely honest.
Right,
He didn't
I
do anything
agree.
to get
I
the team
agree.
out of the cellar.
I
Louis
think
Pica brings up a good. Angels have 2 of the top 5 players in Major League Baseball,
And they
and
don't
they
go
still
nowhere.
can't get out of last place.
No,
One near
you can't
last
stop
place.
them tripping over their own feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
again, I think if that's the way it goes, if everything being equal with both players, the common denominator's got to be where did the team finish with them.
I agree.
So I think you can say we can say that Judge had one of the best seasons I've ever seen. I know Jeff, you and I can go back to the Lou Gehrig days, even maybe some of the Mickey Mantle days, and find some great seasons, no doubt about it. But this
I understand what you're saying. He's coming off the heels of where everybody hits over a certain amount of home runs. People point a finger, but this guy's on steroids.
Yeah.
This has got to be one of the first guys that really set a record and was hitting some mammoth home runs, and the word steroids never came up when his name is mentioned.
Correct.
Let me just say this to you, and I'm gonna leave. If you think about it, think about the home run chase. Babe Ruth was on the 27 Yankees, which was supposed to be one of the greatest teams ever put together. Okay, so I had Ruth was covered his ass front and back. Now go to the 61 Yankees. That's the best team I ever saw between Maris and Mantle and he finished with the great home run. This guy played with a team they're good ball players, but you wouldn't compare them to the 61 Yankees, and you wouldn't compare this team to the 27 Yankees. So for him to do what he did, it shows me this kid is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. He's a 5-tool player. He can throw, run, hit for power, hit for average. This is a good ball player, and he did a good job. Listen, Jeff, he bet on himself. Here's a guy who got a big contract offer, turned it down. People were blasting him, and he goes out and has one of the best seasons of all time.
Yeah.
You got to give the guy his credit.
Yeah, well, listen, it's whatever his reason was for turning down the offer. I don't know what the offer was, and
It was like $30-something million, about
yeah,
$34 million.
7 years, $230-something million total.
These are numbers that are just astronomical, man.
Yes.
Oh my God!
You're throwing the dice when you do that.
Right, and
yeah,
he
but
won.
he won. Just like in the NFL, if you play quarterback and somebody cuts you, somebody's coming right behind them with a blank check. And whatever it takes to get you. And a guy like Aaron Judge, after the season, God only knows what he's going to get.
He's going to get $40 million a year next year. He's going to get $40 million for the next.
It's not the money that they were worried about
It's
what
the
they
years.
said was the length of the contract.
Yeah, he's looking for a
He's
10-year
30
deal,
now.
Jeff. Yeah, he's 30
Right.
years old. He'll be 31 next year, and he's looking for basically a 10-year extension. And
You know,
Nobody's
not
going to
for
pay
nothing,
that.
I would never, if I was in his position,
Yep.
I would never want a contract, a 10-year contract. I would turn around and want a 3 or 5 year contract, because if you're still worth your while, at the end of that contract, you're going to get another big number, a huge number.
All right.
And right now, you're going to get a contract, and you're going to end up outperforming the contract. And by the time year 6, 7, and 8 come around, there's going to be guys that make $50 million. And even if you're playing at a high level, you're not going to get paid what some of these other guys are paying. I would
The
not want
problem is that at his age, the likelihood is his last 4, maybe 5 years will nowhere near be as good as what he's doing now. So
I'm sure that his next year he's not going to do what he did now.
oh no, nobody's expecting him to come out and hit 60 homers again next year. But do you expect him to come out and hit 45, maybe get to 50, driving 100 runs and hit 300? Yeah, I think
Dude, if he hits anything less than 50, they're going to say something's wrong with him. You watch.
I agree. I don't know about drugs, but I agree with Jeff. I don't think he's ever going to give.
Yeah.
That's like a freak what he did.
Yeah, it's a huge.
I think he
best
had
season I ever saw. Best season I ever saw.
The closest that came to that was Mantle and Maris, only because Mickey Mantle and him were going back and forth.
Right.
Well, that's what everybody was praying for Mantle. Maris got booed. He got things thrown at him.
Yeah.
They wrote terrible things about him because everybody wanted Mantle to break it.
Yep.
No. All right, I'm going to let you guys go.
Thanks,
Tommy,
Pop.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Yes. Put it this way, that Saturday's no good. If you guys want to do something tomorrow, we're good. So talk to Mom.
Be home?
I'll get home at a reasonable time, probably.
All right.
5:30.
I'll give you a call tomorrow morning.
Call me tomorrow morning.
All right. Take care, Jeff. Say hello to your family.
I will, Mr. Fleur. It'll be good to see you soon.
That's my pops. He checks in every week with us. We love having him. It's a good debate. But Jeff, it comes down to this. Aaron Judge bet on himself, and he had a great season. It was a lot of fun to watch. And for me, it's the best season I ever saw one individual player have. Anytime you do something that nobody's done clean or without any sort of asterisks or stuff hanging over their head, he's a guy who hit 62 homers 61 years after it was first done, and the last time it's done without any sort of,
performance enhancements.
Yes. So to me, Aaron Judge has put together, just a blockbuster year. And listen, it's just leading us into the playoffs, and I think it's been a great baseball season in New York. Both teams have won close to 100 games, and both teams are in the playoffs. And now the Mets. Jeff, here's the thing about the Mets. So here, let me ask you, how would you characterize the season? So you're the Mets. You probably weren't expected to win the division. You expected to fight for a wild card spot. Most of the season you're winning your division by let's say 7 to 10 games. All of a sudden the Braves get smoking hot, and they cut that lead down to the point where going into the last 6 games of the season, 3 of which are in Atlanta against the Braves. The Mets are up one game. Okay, you go out there and you lose all 3 games. Now I break the Mets chops and the Met fans chops, but does that, and now you wind up losing the division and you get the wild card, which is what you were expected to do from the beginning. Does that minimize what your season was? Do you think that the Mets should be, I don't know, what's the right word? Was it a letdown that the fact that they went in there? Sorry, Rob, I got to call it when I see it. Can you call it a letdown, or can you say it's still still been a good season?
Well, listen, they won 100 games. It's still a good season,
right?
Without a doubt. Okay, they didn't win the division. They were leading most of the season, if not the whole season.
90% of it, yeah.
The one thing that you left out is that they lost the division to last year's defending World Series champion.
Right.
So I'm not going to turn around and say, well, listen, a World Series champion is a champion, but because if I remember right, the Braves were not really all that good the years prior.
And they weren't even good last year until they got hot in September and then went on
It doesn't matter. They have a trophy with last year's date on it.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So they were good enough to win. If they got hot at the right time, as we always say. But the point of it is that the Mets were bested by a team that won the World Series last year. Now, maybe this is a blessing in disguise for the Mets.
Why?
Maybe they get an easier way through the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe they get hot at the right time.
Well,
but the Mets have some injuries too.
The Mets have had some injuries, not too many. I mean, listen, they've basically kept. I mean, they had some spots where Scherzer was out a couple of games. Obviously, DeGrom didn't play at all until July, I think, or August. They've had some minor injuries, but they've been a little inconsistent throughout the year. Even though they had a great season and they were in first place, your team. This is talking about a team that in July was up 10 games on the division. My biggest problem is you're fighting all year. You're fighting all year. You're in there, and you get to a big part of the season, Jeff, where the division's on the line against arguably the second or third best team in the National League, and you get a chance to go there and put your stamp on the season, and then you go there with your three best pitchers and get swept. That's, to me, is demoralizing. Now, doesn't mean they can't go out and change the whole narrative in the playoffs and win the whole thing. They certainly can. But to me, if you're a real great team, you got to win two of those three. At least you got to pull out one and come out of there, even going into the last couple games of the year.
Listen, I hear you. I agree. I totally agree with you. But something, that they're in the playoffs, so they made it. Mm-hmm. Right now everybody's starting at the same record, 0-0. So although I hear what you're saying, but that's like saying, and I wanted to bring this over along anyway, with the Yankees, and you were saying that there was no way that they were going to win 120 games.
Right.
If you think about what the Dodgers did, the Dodgers basically, yes, they won 110, 111 games.
Yep.
But if they were just a little bit hotter, they would have hit 120 games.
Listen,
10 games behind the Yankees in the summertime, and they made up that 10-game difference and then plus them by 10 games.
Absolutely.
So that they were at one point in time on pace, if they just ran out of games, to hit 120 games. But as far as the Mets go, I see that they're playing the Padres.
Yep.
All right. So they're middle of the road team right now, but they got the Dodgers next. So
so think about it this way, Jeff.
That bracket may be wrong. If St. Louis wins, they would go to play LA, correct?
No, it's the winner of the Mets Padres get the Dodgers, and the winner of St. Louis Philly gets the Braves. So think about this, Jeff. Had the Mets won the division, they would be getting the winner of St. Louis and Philly, which I know St. Louis has played well. Philly's an annoying team. You wouldn't be facing the team with 107 wins to get to the next level. So winning the division would have gave them seemingly now a better chance, I think, because now if you beat, don't forget now, you're going to beat San Diego using your two or three of your best pitchers. Now you get to LA and you're starting off that series with your fourth best pitcher.
Well, first of all, how many games is this first round? Is it one game?
I think it's three. Best two out of three.
Best 2 out of 3, and then what is it? 4, then 4, and then the World Series.
I think it's then it gets 3 out of 5 in the next round, and then the last 2 rounds are 4 out of 7.
Oh, okay.
So to me, while again, I do believe the Mets will win this series. You now instead of coming into this and setting up your rotation to face the Dodgers, or let's say to face this St. Louis or Philly with your 3 best pitchers ready to go. Now you got to use those 3 best pitchers, or at least 2 of them for sure, and then face the Dodgers with the best, your 3rd best pitcher, maybe your 4th best pitcher if you have to play all 3 games. So that's why losing this division becomes a little bit of a problem, because now you're not set up like the Dodgers. Dodgers right now, they're going to get extra rest. They're going to give you their top 3 pitchers, 4 pitchers in the series. They're all set up, ready to go, and you're coming up there with your 3rd or maybe your 4th best pitcher in the first game or 2. That's tough.
But you know what? The Mets are going to be off. Not the Mets. I'm sorry. The Dodgers are going to be off for several days before the Mets. The Dodgers get there.
Yeah. Could that be the opposite? Could that be the too much sitting around? Because there's be sitting around over a week.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. We see that happen all the time. So you just don't know as far as that goes. Will it benefit them or not?
Yeah, that's a great question. You get on the roll now. You run right through teams that have been sitting on their ass trying to restart the engine up. So yeah, you're right. Nobody knows how, but on paper, you definitely have made your life more difficult, at least at the start. Maybe it turns into a plus. You're right.
I mean, you know what? I would look at it this way. Look at the overall picture on the board here.
Yeah.
Okay. You got the Yankees and the Astros and the Dodgers. These are teams that seem to be in the playoffs every year. Tampa Bay seems to be in the playoffs quite often. Yeah. But you got Cleveland. They haven't been in there for a while. Yeah. Seattle, 20 years.
20 years.
Toronto was a terrible team up until maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah, a couple years, yeah.
Okay. The Mets are back in action. The Padres, I know they had that kid. What was that shortstop? I believe he was.
Yeah, Machado. No, Tatis, yes. Yeah, blew out the shoulder.
The scandal.
Yep.
With the drugs, or not the drugs, but the performance.
Yes. Yep.
The Phillies, you got 1, 2, 3 teams out of one division.
Yep.
In the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. In St. Louis.
Same with the Yankees. They got 3 teams out of the American League East on the other side.
Yeah, that's true too.
Toronto, Tampa, and the Yankees.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And if you want to go a little further back for the fuck of it, you could say to Cleveland too. They used to be in the same division as the
It's a long time ago, but yeah, you're right. I mean, listen,
who just popped up?
What the hell? My God, you somehow found this Hard Rock and Sports. Jeff and Tommy on a Thursday night. Talk a little baseball before we get our chances to talk some football. We'll talk a little Iron Maiden a little bit, and we got talk a little bit about Eddie Van Halen. It's 2 years since the passing of Eddie, so lots to talk about tonight as we kick off a Major League Baseball weekend. Ready to go along with Week 5 of the NFL. We got a lot of Jets and Giants to talk about, so stick around, hang around, and be ready to talk sports and some music tonight when we
let's get this underway, man.
All right,
so baseball. Let's put this shit to bed.
All right, so we'll put the baseball to bed by me saying I like the Mets in the first round. I love St. Louis in the first round. To get there, I like the Dodgers in the second round. I like the Braves in the second round to play in the NLCS. On the opposite side, I just got rid of the board. Let me put the board back up for half a second. I'm sorry, Jeff. Then we'll get to football. Okay. On the other side, on the Junior League, I like Cleveland to get through the first round because of their manager. I like Seattle. I just think they're due to get there. First time in 20 years. I'll take the Astros and the Yankees in the ALCS, and I'm going to take the Yankees and the Braves in the World Series. We'll pick World Series later on, but I think you'll know who I got. I think this is the Yankees' year. I think with all the stuff that's gone on, the Judge, the terrible midseason, I think this team is just about getting back to where it's supposed to be. So
we will see. That's my. I agree with everything that Tommy just said, and the rest I'll end it with. We'll see. Now on to the next thing.
All right, so let's talk a little football from the weekend. I will start with the Giant game, which I watched on I DVR'd. Jeff, here's where I look at it. This Giant team wins ugly. I will give the one thing I'm going to tell you, Jeff. I don't know how much you've watched and highlights or whatever. I will tell you that
Richie's saying something about the beard. Look, Rich. It's totally in control. It's like
and by the way, his beard is now is being sponsored by the boys at Hemp Wizard Beer Care Co., who have designed Jeff's own fragrance for his beard. Right? Show him the fragrance, Jeff. That's right. Tell him what's in it.
Peach, apple, leather. Man, that's some good stuff right there.
That will be called the Audible.
Yes, sir.
That's the Audible, which should be available hopefully for the Christmas season. So, Rich, if you grow a beard,
could I describe it to you?
Please.
On the initial swiff, I catch peach first. As it transitions over to a blend of leather and apple. It's oh man, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Mike Weissman's right there. That Mike is the
Rich, that's okay. You could say whatever you want. It's not my problem that you don't have no fucking hair follicles on that baby face of yours.
Mike, you've done a great job. Jeff doesn't like anything, and he likes your scent on all of your stuff. So if you're out there and you got the holiday season's coming your way, make sure you visit our friends at Hemp Wizard Beard Care Co. and their line of beard care products and skin care products. So for the man or woman in your life who's got a nice beard working, or who likes a little skin lotion, please do me a favor. Reach out to our friends Joe and Mike and Hemp Wizard Beard Care Co. and put your orders in for the holidays, folks.
And I'm going to ask Mike to please send me a reminder now, because I can't do it right now, to remind me to order some more, man. I'm out. I need some more of this. The Kush mints. This is some good stuff, man. Fall's coming. This is a good fall Christmas scent, Tom.
That's it. And we're gonna order a whole bunch of Cushmans, and we're gonna order obviously the Audible, and we're gonna be distributing it to our friends and family and people listening to the show. Whether you got a beard or you want to grow a beard, we're gonna be giving them out.
Listen, you get something like this, right? It comes packaged very nicely. You don't have to worry about it being damaged. So you got an aunt, right? You only see her at the holiday time. Okay.
She got a little scruff going.
Little Aunt Mary, she's got a couple of hairs coming here, right on the chin, right on the edges of the lip. You want to help her. She ain't getting rid of it, but you want to keep it smooth. Because when she comes over to you and she gives you that kiss on the cheek for Christmas, you feel that wiry shit jab you in the face. You give her this stuff right here. It smooths it out, makes it nice and soft to the touch, makes it smell nice. Bad enough she's got facial hair as it is. You want to try to keep it as groomed as possible. It is your aunt, after all.
It's true.
And you're sending money to the nice guys that have Wizard, and they send them good products.
That's no better endorsement than that, folks. Do it for the auntie. Do it for Jeff. Hard Rockin' Sports. Jeff and Tom, Thursday night, talking sports. With Jeff, let's just talk a little bit more sports, and we'll talk about the Giants. So, Jeff, I was saying was the Giants. The big thing I've noticed this year. Now, I tease you about Saquon, and I think he's having a fantastic season. Probably the best back in football right now. But what I really am impressed with is the coaching. The coaching, the difference in how this team performs, how it acts, how it thinks is light years over anything I've seen since probably the early Coughlin days. Brian Dable and his staff, Wink Martindale, they've done a great job with this team. They just find, what it is, Jeff? They go out there one week and they run Saquon to death. The next week, it's all about screens. This week, Daniel Jones was lighting them up with his feet. He ran for 2 touchdowns. They just take whatever the defense is giving them, and they just go out there and try to find a way to win. It doesn't look pretty, and they're playing great defense. That's the big difference. And people are excited to go into the games, and the players are buying in.
Well, let me ask you something, because I understand what you're saying, but do you think it's more along the lines that not so much that they're pushing the team or pushing the players or having a different game plan for week after week after week? Or is it more that, and this is a perfect example, they didn't pick up the Daniel Jones option.
Right.
Are they showing them that, like, listen, we're not married to anybody on this team. It doesn't matter whether we picture or not. They're not playing Kadarius Toney. Galladay is like a fucking on the extinct list. You don't see him. They just, these guys that don't play. That, listen, we're going to move on. If you're not on with us, you're not within our mindset, we're not going to keep you. Daniel Jones, we want you to prove that you belong on this team. If not, we have no problem going to the next quarterback. So, I mean, is it more that they're doing, that they're not set with who they got on the team and who they want?
Well, I think there's a lot of guys on this team that they don't want, but they're stuck with. I think Kenny Galladay is a big part of that. They didn't draft.
I mean, probably after this season, they'd probably be able to cut Galladay, no?
Yes. This year, after this year, they can cut Galladay and not take a huge cap hit. There's been rumors of Kenny Galladay or Kadarius Toney to the Packers. There's been a couple of big rumors that there's some works going on there because they need some veteran help, and they're looking for some guys in the Giants are looking to bury some bad contracts. And
I don't see the Packers of all teams taking on somebody like Kenny Galladay. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know that. The problem is that they're looking for a veteran guy.
Did he even catch a pass this year?
He's had he's had a few. Last week he had nothing, but I think he got hurt early. I think he's out this week with a knee sprain, I believe. I think he sprained his MCL.
Because of those two guys that we have, Dobbs and
Yeah.
Lazard,
Yep.
who are very highly looked upon.
Yes.
They may be the new 1 and 2 options
They might be
over there in Green Bay.
It's very possible. So, but there is some rumors that the Giants are trying to make a trade. The Packers are interested. We'll see. But I think, to your point, I don't think that what you see on the roster this year, a lot of it's going to be the same next year. Now, Daniel Jones right now has done himself very well. He's played, hasn't turned the ball over much. Yes, he is, Matt. He's a big fat zero. He hasn't turned the ball over much. He's shown a tremendous aptitude for getting out of trouble. He's been pressured, and he's got no receivers to throw to. I mean, when your receivers are Richie James, David Sills, and Tanner Hudson, this is not the best. This is not the best receiving core in football. Does Daniel Jones deserve a new contract yet? No, not yet. He's got to play a little bit more, win a few more games. But I think he's really represented himself well.
Is he going to play Sunday?
That's from all indications, the press was at the practice this morning. They said he was moving around without a limp. He was throwing passes. I think and here's the big thing. They have not signed a quarterback yet as a backup. So to me, Davis Webb is the backup, and Daniel Jones is going to play. Now, how effective is he going to be? Can he run the way he's been running this whole season? I don't know if it was this game or the game before. I think it was the game before. He was pressured 20-something times. He ran for 9 or 11 first downs on his own. So Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones, again, am I putting him in the top 5, top 10? No. He has to throw the ball more. But his offensive line has not been great pass blocking, and he's got nobody to throw. Listen to this one. He completed, I think, 12 of 19 passes Sunday, and he had, I think, 4 drops. So think about, balls right in guys' chest. So think about, he would have been 16 and 19 for, close to 200 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. The kid's playing well. The bigger news is Saquon, and he looks like the old Saquon, and he's had some home runs, but he's hitting holes 7 yards, 8 yards. He was playing quarterback for half the fourth quarter.
Oh, listen, let's see what happens as far as he goes. As far as the Daniel Jones goes in the NFL, I was reading a thing on, I think it was NFL.com.
Yeah.
And they were asking these guys who were the top 5 quarterbacks. And both of them, I think there was 2 guys that answered the question, and both of them put Lamar Jackson in there.
Yeah.
And, listen, there's no doubting that he's a talent. But, because of the game that he plays, I myself would not want him as the quarterback of my team, because if he gets hurt, then it's like you're losing 2 guys. But if you're going to count him as one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, I'm thinking that, there's not a top 5 that compares to the top 5 there was 5 to 10 years ago.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I agree with that.
He's a great player, great talent, and everything else. So Daniel Jones, my point, does that raise Daniel Jones's talent level, or does it suppress his talent level in your eyes?
Well, I say this. I think Daniel Jones is a better thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson's a tremendous athlete. I think he's a tough runner. I don't think Jones is as good a runner as Lamar Jackson is. But if I had to pick one of those 2 guys to throw a football, I'm taking Daniel Jones. He throws a good football. He made a pass to Darius Slayton Sunday, a 40-yard pass down the sideline that should have been a catch for 40 yards, and he dropped it. And luckily for him, they called pass interference before the play, before the catch. But that's just the way it's been. But Daniel Jones is a better thrower of the ball than Lamar Jackson. And again, I'm not saying he's a great one. He's just better than Lamar. That's the difference between the 2.
No, listen, dude, I think Lamar Jackson is adequate, but I don't think Lamar Jackson is going to be a tremendous talent that's going to lead the league in passing.
Yeah.
But he does so many other things. He's a great talent to have on the team. But man, one fucking twisted ankle, one shot on the side of the knee, and that's it. That team is done.
Well, the
You're going to
problem,
lose a runner and a quarterback.
yeah, and I agree with that. But the big thing for Lamar Jackson,
I'm sorry, I agree with Matt. Yes, he has gotten better as a thrower,
yes,
but
it's still way off. Yeah,
he's not where you really want him to be.
yeah.
You know?
And think about this, Jeff. It's for Lamar Jackson. It's never been about the regular season. Regular season, he's won an MVP. His team wins the division. He's up there. The problem for guys like Lamar Jackson is once you get into the playoffs and the defenses and the teams get better, they take away what you do well. And you have to do what you do not well better. So when you get to the playoffs and you're Lamar Jackson, they're not going to allow you to run the football the way you do during the regular season. They're going to force you to throw the ball. And at that point, you have to do that better than you did in the regular season. And that's his problem is he can't. Now, maybe, he's gotten better enough that maybe this year's the year. But so far, I haven't seen that. I've not seen him throw the ball well enough where I would say in a big spot in a big game, I trust him throwing the ball.
I wouldn't trust him to throw the ball either.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember when his first years as the starter, it looked like he was throwing a wiffle ball. The thing was fucking barely wobbling over the offensive line. But, give him the ball and off he goes. But it's like watch a high school quarterback play the game. And I just get worried. Like, I'm not a Ravens fan, so I don't have a dog in that fight. But he gets hurt. That's it. The Ravens are done.
Yeah, no, agreed. But I think that, you know what, Jeff, we could say that about a lot of teams. Now, again, there's a couple teams like the Cowboys. You thought that goes down. They win in a bunch of games. Cooper Rush has done a nice job. Now, listen, people shouldn't think Cooper Rush is the be-end all. He's played really well. He's done some good things. I don't know if it could last forever. I just don't see him keeping the job. But, most of the time when you lose your quarterback in this league and you got to go to the next guy, it spells doom. I mean, tell me the team out there that you would say, well, if Aaron Rodgers went down, they'd be fine. If Tom Brady goes down, they'll be fine. It just doesn't happen because nobody's got a real quality backup.
There's not many teams that I could tell you that I can name their starting or backup quarterbacks. Yeah, to be honest with you, because they don't have the same
sex appeal. They're not the same.
Whatever you want to say, as they did years ago. Years ago, you would know who some of the teams back
100%.
And they were capable, some of those guys. Today, this isn't like here. You said about the Giants. It'd be like the first thing you said. Well, I know Jones is going to play because they haven't signed anybody.
Right.
And that's how bad it is with some of the backups that, your starter goes down, they start scrambling and looking for another arm to sign. It's unbelievable.
Well, this week I saw they brought in Jake Fromm, who was a horrendous show last year for 2 games. They brought in a few guys, and I said, okay, if they sign one of these guys, then I have to be worried. But to me, it's Thursday night. They haven't signed anybody. Has a good backup. But I will tell you, Daniel Jones is going to play Sunday. So like I said, to finish up on the Giants, and then we'll move on to the Jets, and then we'll go to the NFL itself. Hey, Jeff, so I know we break each other's balls, but at what will it be? Now, Giants are 3-1. Okay, we could break down who they actually beat or how they beat them. What point do you look up and say, hey, the Giants are, 7-4. The Giants are 6-6. They're playing decent ball while they are better. Like, what point? What is there a trigger in your mind when you would say, okay, now I think the Giants are better? Is it a win? Is it a win? Is it a win against a certain team? Like if they went out and beat the Packers this week in London?
No, I don't think that would mean anything because both teams are traveling.
Okay, and that's fair. And that's fair.
I don't think that this game should be used as a measuring stick. But I think as far as what you're asking me is if the Giants aren't getting blown out, if they're not you can't use injuries. You can't say anything about injuries. You don't want other players to get hurt as it is. But if you could see that the team is playing hard and playing hard late in the game, it's the fourth quarter and they're not down by 17 points the midway of the fourth quarter. That, this is a team that's maybe down by 7 points or less going into the fourth quarter and they're playing hard, something of that nature, or they actually have the lead. Like, real quick, not to switch over, but the Jets
we can switch
have
over.
held the lead for 22 seconds so far this year.
Yeah.
4 games. Yeah. They're 2-2, which they're lucky to be 2-2, and they've held the lead for 22 seconds out of 4 games. So, when does the Jets made a little bit of a turn when they beat Cleveland, although Cleveland allowed them to get that win.
Yeah.
But they played hard and they hung in there.
Absolutely.
But when a team is playing hard, the team is showing that they're interested and they want the victory, that's when a team has made the turn. I happen to think that the Giants had two shitty coaches.
Looking back,
I'm more impressed with the Giants coaching staff this year.
I agree with that.
Than so much as the team.
100%. I think the game plans have been good. They've found what works in the game and they've stuck to it. They didn't try to force Daniel Jones to throw the ball 40 times in either game. They said, okay, he's running the ball well. We're running the football well as a team, and we're playing good defense. Let's just go out there and play it that way. And that's what's impressed me with Brian Daboll and his staff. I think the defense has done a great job, considering they've been undermanned. They've got no real linebackers to speak of. And their secondary is decimated with cornerback injuries. So this Giants staff has done a great job altogether. I'll tell you that much. But let's kick it over to the Jets. You brought them up, and I think it's a good transition for me.
Well, it's not even that I wanted to shy away from the Giants at this point in time. I just, I think the Jets, every time that it looks as though that they're starting something, or it seems as though that they're starting to wake up, something happens.
Yeah.
Now, I did read something today. I believe it was on NFL.com. I think it was before dinner I read it.
Okay.
And they was talking about Jets rookies.
Okay.
Or rookies in general. And they brought up like 3 or 4 Jets rookies. And Sauce Gardner was like the first player they started to talk about.
Yep.
And they're starting to say that, the league is starting to take notice and they know that he's there.
Yeah.
So that's big for the Jets. Next,
100%.
Garrett Wilson, our guy.
Yep.
Our boy. All right. So he's got a ways to go. But, listen, this is a great time for him to build a rapport with his other Wilson friend there, Zach Wilson.
Yep.
And it'll help Breece Hall. They're saying Breece Hall is starting to come on. Matter of fact, one of the writers, I think it was on ESPN, I forget who it was. I don't remember their names. I don't read their names, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Said that they have a feeling a monster game is about to happen any week now. So what constitutes a monster game? Is this guy going to run for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns and, catch the ball 4 times for 50 yards or something,
Yeah.
You don't know. And it's just nice to see that Carl Lawson, I think, is a half a sack behind Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa for the league lead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are things that are starting to, gel together. They have to gel quicker.
Well, I think I do. I agree with that. But I think the big thing is when these teams are winning games that they normally would lose. I mean, the Jets won 2 games that in the last few years they would have lost. The Giants won a few games. The missed field goal in the Titan game. Even this past weekend's game. These are games that normally these teams lose these games. So maybe the mentality is changing. Now, the one thing I'll say is this. I don't have yet a feeling whether this Jet coaching staff is the real deal yet. I haven't seen enough of a change offensively and enough dominance on defense where I say, yeah, they got the right coach as much as I do the Giants staff.
Well, just to touch base on Matt, what you just said, and Tom, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you, but they're definitely playing better this year than they were last year.
Absolutely.
Matt, you can't say that the Jets were drafting really well after 4 games. I won't say that because that's just too arrogant for me. I wouldn't do that. It's definitely a step in the right direction, and it's nice to see that some of these Jet rookies are being noticed by the league, and you just got to hope that this is a team that gels together and stays together, because if it does, they could be a good team for many, many years. They have a lot of young pieces. You got to figure next year's draft pick is still going to be a very good to a premium player wherever they're going to be picking. I'm sure they're going to be picking in the top half of the draft, the top 15, 16 this year. So listen, if they do in college, it's a thing, but it's only 4 games in an NFL career. College is a different game. I just can't give them that yet. I just can't.
Well, most of us would say the Jets had the best offseason. They won the offseason, as people like to say, with a great draft. I haven't seen all of the players they drafted. I have not seen Jermaine Johnson have a big impact yet, but I haven't watched all the Jet games either. I thought Gary Wilson's had some breakout points, and their offense looks totally different when he's not on the field. So, boy, Joe, you missed it. We were just talking. Yeah, Joe, we were talking about that. We'll bring that back up in a second. But again, Matt, I think between that and the one thing they haven't fixed yet is the offensive line. That's still
that's something that has a lot to do with everything. Yeah. And Matt, you're right. This is a team that has drafted way more Ryan Leafs than anybody could count, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But as far as the Jets go, that offensive line and all the issues with that offensive line, oh my God. Like, is there anybody that started in the preseason that's still there? It's unbelievable. It's just unfucking believable. And Joe, there is no more call in, bro.
Yeah. We got rid of Blog Talk. If you want to come on, Joe, I can send you a link and you can pop up on your phone. But yeah, we've disassociated ourselves with Blog Talk. We'd love to have you talk about that. If you want to come on, let me know. I'll send you the link. So Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom on Thursday night talking some football, maybe some more baseball in a minute. We'll see if Joe Gantz wants to pop up. We'll certainly give him the link to do that. Again, Jeff, I think the big thing for me is the teams are winning big games that they shouldn't win. Again, the Jets are going to get a big test this week, although without Tua, and we'll get to the Tua saga a little later.
Now, here, wait. I'm sorry. Please. Matt is bringing up points. I like to answer them because it's the Jets. Matt, you can ask Tommy. I said from day one, when the Jets drafted a kid that weighed 367 pounds out of college, that his weight is going to be a problem. This kid is not even full grown when he got drafted into the NFL. You know that he's going to be hovering around the 400-pound mark in no time, and that's what his problem is. His fucking knees must be like fucking nubs. They can't. There's no way that he's going to have a 10-year career in the NFL. No way. God forbid he falls and he twists that knee. It's it. It's done. It'll turn to dust.
Yeah. There's been some bad ones. Now again, what is this team at the end of the year? If they don't fix the offensive line, if they go into a tailspin, does Joe Douglas get another year? I do. I think Douglas and Salah have this year and next year to turn things around before you're going to hear the rumors. I don't think the Jets, if they wind up losing every game the rest of the year, I don't think they would make a change in GM and keep the coach, and I don't think they're ready to abandon the coach, Jeff. So I think these guys have one more year beyond this year to turn this around. They could do it this year, but I think they'll have one more.
I think you got to give them one more because just because of the amount of young players and impact players that they drafted.
I agree.
I think you have to see what these guys are going to do. It's almost like it's a must. If they really become the players that they envision them, like I said, this could be an extremely good team. Imagine Wilson and Wilson playing together for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Imagine Sauce Gardner being the next Darrell Revis and maybe them drafting one or two more pieces in that defense, especially in that secondary.
Absolutely. Listen, they have some pieces right now. Quinton Williams is a good player. Obviously, Gardner's getting a lot of great talk this year. They're already talking how he's going to shut down Tyreek Hill this week. I think that's going to be a fun matchup to watch. As a Giant fan, with the Giants playing early Sunday, Jeff, I'll be all over the Jet game because I want to see, when I look at this AFC East, Jeff, there's an unfamiliar team at the bottom. And, its whole dynamic in this division has changed.
Yeah. I agree. But you know what, Tom? If it was week 15 or 16 and they were down the bottom, I'd agree with you. But being that it's week 5, anything could happen. And it's not like they're getting blown out. So, I mean, that's just me. That's the way I see it.
I got it. But again, you could it kind of just feels different. Yeah, I like Michael Carter as well, Matt. I think Michael Carter's a hell of a runner. I think you got to get.
I don't think they know what they want to do. Do they want to use Brees Hall or Mike Carter?
I like Carter better than Hall. I do. I like Carter better than Hall. I think Hall's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discounting him. I just think Michael Carter's one of those guys who can really be dynamic. And I think what this offense needs is the ability to run the football consistently, and that'll make it better for Zach Wilson and open things up in the passing game. So I think they sometimes get away from it. Again, you said it, Jeff. This is a team that's winning on last drives, which is big. I mean, we haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to read what Matt said. Yeah, I agree with you, Tom. I agree with you.
Okay, so again, big games for both teams this week. The Giants on the road. Both teams on the road technically in London facing the Packers. The Giants, I think, are 7.5-point underdogs this week. I tell you what, I like the Giants in this game. Not necessarily to win it, but to be close. If Daniel Jones is playing, I think Saquon's been really good, and you can't stop them both. And their defense is playing well enough, and I don't think there's a lot of talent yet, or at least it's not come together yet, Jeff, on the Packer side of the ball. And I think your boy Aaron Rodgers is getting very frustrated out there.
I think Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are holding their hands going down the road together, to be honest.
I don't disagree. We'll get to a lot of that later, but yeah, I agree with you on that. I think
Father Time has tapped him on the shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Rodgers still got some gas in the tank, but the problem is I don't think he has enough talent around him, and that division's gotten better. You know, Minnesota's played a little better this year. The Lions are much better this year. The Bears still suck. So, you know, his hold on this division is probably this year. After this year, I think you're gonna have some teams really fighting for that division. So I'll be honest with you. I'd be surprised if he's back.
I'll be honest. I got to tell you, man, if you're talking about the NFC North,
yeah,
I think the Packers are going to take a step backwards only because of the of Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. I also, there's Sharon jetting across there because of
hi Sharon,
my partner. My new partner is here, Basil.
I think Matt. I think Tom Brady's already regretted. I think it's cost him his marriage. I don't think the team is very good. Listen, I think Father Time's caught up to him a little bit, but you know, he's got no, you know, Godwin hasn't played much. Evans missed a game. You know, there's a big hole without Gronk. I mean, they turned to Julio Jones. Cole Beasley came back for 2 weeks and retired. You know, the offensive line is disheveled, and I think Todd Bowles isn't over his head. He can't handle the job.
I don't know about that, about Todd Bowles being over his head, man. I just think that team just took a step backwards. It's not the same team. You got a 45-year-old quarterback.
Yeah, but he's still playing well. It's not that he's not playing well. You just don't have a lot of pieces around him.
He's like, last time I saw, he's like the 16th rated quarterback in the league, man. For him, that's for anybody else that'd be playing okay, but for him, it's not.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping Father Time is going to just fucking horse collar him. Right at the goal line too.
Yeah, listen, I think it has, Jeff. I mean, first off, I agree with you, Matt. I don't think he's done a good job. I think he's a great. Some guys, Jeff, are just good coordinators. You know, some guys can get to the guy.
Listen, you guys don't have to tell me. Todd Bowles was the Jet coach. I'm telling you, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not the same team. Think of the guys that are no longer there. When you start talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, think of the guys that are there that are a year older. Think of that offensive line Brady has in front of him.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Whatever you want to say, what Brady has going on in his mind. And there goes Sharon again in the background.
Hi, Sharon. Bye, Sharon.
There she is. There she is. There she is. There she is. If she can't, we got to wait fast enough.
Hey, listen, like I said, I think Father Time has caught up with him. And I think Brady, I think, and then listen, I think all of that off the field stuff with him going through a divorce, that's trying to split up the hundreds of millions of dollars that they've acquired together. I think the Arians thing, I think all of it plays in, and they have a bad division. They'll win the division. They'll win enough games, but I think Brady's going to go out on a low point, as opposed to if he had retired after last year, walking off the field his last time. he left the game with a lead, although they gave it up on the next possession and lost. I think this was a bad decision. It's cost him his marriage and a little, not his legacy, because I think you can't destroy his legacy with 7 Super Bowl wins. But
Listen, anybody
it's
that
definitely
says,
knocking
I
him.
hate Tom Brady with all my being. I hate
Yeah.
Tom Brady. Even I say that even if he was to go and whatever for the rest of his career, however long that is, he can't tarnish his legacy.
Right.
The guy won 7 Super Bowls. He can't. You can't tarnish his legacy. Not right now.
Couldn't agree more with you, Jeff. But again, Hot Rock Sports, Jeff and Tom talking a little football right now. Want to talk a little about things around the league?
I got to be honest with you. I'm hoping that it comes out of the bag that Giselle is a. Well, I don't know. Can't say that word, but
hey, Anthony Carey popped up.
Anthony Carey, look who it is, man. What's going on?
Yes, Anthony Carey. Thank you. First off, thank you for the birthday wish. I appreciate that. Thank you, Anthony. We do miss you. It's not been the same up here without you. And we did talk about that already. It's a great time of the year to be a New York sports fan. For the first time in a long time, Jets and Giants over 500. Yankees and the Mets in the playoffs. We got a little bit of hope for the Rangers this year. They play as the season get ready to start. And who knows about the Knicks and the Nets. But Anthony, we miss you. I'm happy you popped up.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
Absolutely, yes. Anthony's been flying all over the country. Every time we look up, he's in a different place. But hey, Jeff, I'll give you some surprises. I mean, we talked about the Lions. They played a hell of a game, but lost to the Seahawks. And Geno Smith, who's having a remarkable season so far.
Yeah. Well, I'm just once again reading what Matt said. Listen, Geno Smith, if he played that way for the Jets, okay, they would be saying all these great things about Geno Smith and the New York Jets and what he's doing for the New York Jets and how he's leading the league in this and leading the league in that. He's got some phenomenal numbers, but I'm sure the real Geno Smith will stand up any second and start getting the shit slapped out of him.
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, I'm not buying into that Geno Smith's all of a sudden learned how to play quarterback. But I have to say this.
Especially not for the Seahawks.
Yeah. I swore up and down that the Seahawks didn't go get a real quarterback because they were going to tank it this year, and they've done anything but. I mean,
see you later, Matt.
See you later, Matt. Go watch the game, pal. I mean, they're 2-2 at this point in the season. They're San Francisco's 1-2, or actually it should be worse than that. Why is that 1-2? This because that's right. Well, they did win that game, so they're 2-2 also. The Rams. So I mean, tough division. Seattle's exceeded my expectations. A bunch of teams, Jeff. Let me run down through some of the divisions for you. In the South, AFC South, you got Jacksonville, who's I thought played real well this year. I mean, I know they took a beating to the Eagles 29-21 Sunday, but this is a much better, much improved Jaguars team.
Yeah, I would say so, without a doubt. They're looking a little bit better, but you want to know something? Is it that the Jaguars got better, or is it that the rest of the league is?
That's a great question.
Tom, could you hold on to that thought real quick? I got to use the bathroom real quick.
Sure, go ahead. Hot Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom here hanging out on a Thursday night. I have the flu. So Johnny, feel better. Fiona Hines leaves the game on the first drive. Yeah. Hey, John, I don't have the game on right now. I'm got to obviously do the show, but I'll get to the game later. And we have to talk about Sunday. Don't forget the Giants are on at 9:30 in the morning, so we have to kind of get that show on early and be off so I can watch most of that Giant game because I don't miss Giant games. But we'll return to Sunday Audible this Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Me, John, and hopefully the Box and Rafael Esparza. So make sure you check out SundayAudible.com. Guys, again, we have Major League Baseball kicking off this weekend with the Phillies. And let's see if I can do it from memory now. So Phillies, Cardinals, and the Mets and the Padres in the Senior League. And in the Junior League, Tampa will face the Cleveland Indians, or the Guardians, as you're supposed to call them now. And Toronto faces Seattle in the battle of the Upper North. So good. The Yankees, the Astros, the Dodgers, and the Braves all get to bye. So and there's a chance the Mets are talking about sitting DeGrom, maybe not playing them to the next the ALDS. I think that might be a little bit smoke and mirrors. I can't imagine DeGrom's not starting game 2. If you're the Mets, you'd want to dispatch the Padres in game 2, or if you lose game 1 with Scherzer on the mound, you want a chance to make that series 1-1. So, yes, a great job by Aaron Judge. We talked about that earlier. In fact, Jeff, before we get too far ahead, I'd like to play you the calls and get your thoughts on it. Well,
Yes,
bring it up.
go ahead.
All right, let me bring those up for you. First, I'm going to give you the TV call, Jeff. This is Michael K. TV call.
Okay.
Let's see. That would be. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. Right here.
Left field, right field seats are jammed. People looking to grab that home run number 62. There's a strike, 1-1. Judge hitting .310 after the 1 hit in game 1. High fly ball, deep left. There it goes, soaring into history. He's done it. He has done it. 62. Aaron Judge is the American League single-season home run leader. The AL King. Case closed.
All right, that was the TV call. Let me get you the radio call real quick, and then our buddy Joe Gans is right there.
That as soon as he hit the ball, I knew that was gone.
Yeah,
that just had home run sound written all over it, man.
Absolutely. Let me do the TV call. I'd like to get Joe's opinion on this as well. So let me give you the radio call.
Judges hunt for the record, presented by Tri-State Cadillac Dealers.
Here's the 1-1. Swung on. There it goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Number 62 to set the new American League record. Aaron Judge hits his 62nd. All the Yankees out of the dugout to greet him. Just think of it. 3 Yankee right fielders. The Babe hitting 60 and 27. The Jolly Roger hitting 61 and 61. And now Aaron Judge hits his 62nd home run, the most home runs any American leaguer has hit in a single season. And the American League has been alive for 120 years. This is Judgment Day. Case closed.
Interesting, Jeff, how they both said case closed, which I'm not sure. I guess because it's Judge, he's a judge.
You have to, man.
Yeah. All right, let's get Joe.
I mean, it disgusts me the way that they have to say that he set the American League record. He set Major League Baseball's record, as far as I'm concerned. The baseball commissioner talking on ESPN, not giving a straight answer, saying, well, it's up to the fan how he wants to see it. I believe that asterisk should be put there. I also believe Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. And this should be acknowledged as a Major League record.
I would agree with you. Let's see what our buddy Joe Gans is. He's our buddy of 40 years. He's former producer of the Hard Rocket Sports Show. And, of course, he's the producer and the host and the chief bottle washer and all of that over at Around the Kit is our buddy Joe Gans. What's up, Joe?
You dropped him.
No, he's there, I think. Okay, there he is. Thanks, Joe.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, but
it's like a Chinese martial arts movie.
What's up? How you guys doing?
We're good, Joe. How you doing, pal?
Guys, I don't have a lot of time, but I've been. I'm sorry to barge in like this.
You're always welcome, Joe.
I've been holding my tongue like this all day because now on my show we can curse. Can we curse?
Yeah, of course. Jeff can't get through a sentence without it.
Can't stop.
I'm sorry. Fucking Mets. I'm livid again. I'm sorry. I'm fucking livid because I just can't. Let me tell you something. I go back 11 years ago. You know where I'm going, Tom. I'm going to Jose
Reyes. Yep.
Jose Reyes.
Yep.
He gets a fuck. I don't want to curse, but this has been driving me crazy all day. And Met fans out there, fuck you. Anyway, Jose Reyes, he gets a hit, and they take him out of the game. I don't want to use that SCUMBAG word, but that's that kind of move. I'm sorry. Play the whole game, and I'm going back to 1941, guys. Where am I going? I'm going to Ted Williams, who entered the day with 400.000. He could have sat out, but what did he do? He didn't play one game. He played a doubleheader and went 4 for 6. Last night, they don't play Jeff McNeil. Met fans, you cannot do anything right. I'm sorry. You guys can do nothing right. You're happy. I want to hear from the Met fans. The Met fans are happy with this? And I apologize for cursing, guys.
No, Joe, you first off, you couldn't be more right. I'm with you. And I'll tell you why McNeil's even worse than Reyes. At least Reyes took one at bat. Now, he bunted in that at bat, but at least he got up for one time. If McNeil gets up one time and makes it out, he loses the title. So I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's total horse shit. I said from the beginning that it's no way to win a title. I mean, Freeman went out there, went 3 for 4. You go out there, get your 3 at bats, and if you get 2 hits, you win the batting title.
I was rooting so much last night for the great Freddie Freeman. I wish he would have did it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I could not agree with you more. I think it's horse shit. I think Showalter did it to massage his player to make him feel better, and he used the excuse, "Oh, we got to rest up for the playoffs." That's bullshit. You have a chance to win that title the right way. You go out and do it. I think what the Mets did and what McNeil did was total horse shit.
Jeff, what's your take on it, bro?
I feel the same way you do, Joe. I feel as though that the guy should have went out there like it's not really winning it. I said to Tommy earlier, if your team is in the playoffs and you're hurting, you got a bad hamstring or you got a pulled muscle in your rib cage, and you just want to take the night off because it does not matter. You're already in the playoffs, then I can see you're resting up for the playoffs. But if the guy is healthy, you need to get in there and win the batting title, not just have it handed to you. And that's what he did. That's what he did. Too bad the other guy didn't go 4 for 4.
Oh man, he almost did. He's a great hitter. But you think, Tom and Jeff, that the Mets learned from 11 years ago? It just goes to show you.
No,
I don't even know what to say about it. I was and the Met fans out there, I hope you guys are happy. Really, after blowing that huge lead, you found something to be happy about. Well, I don't wish nothing bad on you guys, but I hope you guys do go to the playoffs, because how could the Mets fan? I'd love to hear them chiming in, I forgot. Even my brother Latoni, he's probably so happy today that he won the title.
Absolutely. I agree. I don't get it. But Joe, I asked Jeff this. I know you got to go, but the Mets, they've had a great season. They blew a 10-game lead. But my biggest problem with the Mets is when you had the opportunity to go into Atlanta and win 1 game, 2 games, and seal the lead, just win 1 game. You went out there and they beat you. They beat your 3 best pitchers. To me, that minimizes a little bit what they accomplished this year.
Yes, but who's the Mets nemesis over the last 25 years?
Oh, it's the Braves, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lost for words at the whole batting title, and I'm if I could bring up one more thing, I'm sorry for taking up so much time.
Good.
The Jacob deGrom, I'm not a big fan. Call me crazy. I think I wouldn't rely on him to be healthy for 5 games in a row. But when he's healthy, he's amazing. But I'm not a big fan of that kind of player. That's all my opinion. I'm not a big fan of deGrom.
He's a 6-inning pitcher. I like deGrom. I think he's one of the best pitchers I've ever watched pitch for 5 or 6 innings.
Yeah,
The
but
guy
Tom,
never goes 8 or 9. Never.
Anybody that plays nowadays is 5 or 6 innings. That's all they need anyway.
No, I got you, Jeff. I'm not disagreeing with that. But if you want to tell me you're an all-time great, you can't go out there every week and pitch 4 or 5 innings, and then the last 4 starts he's had, he's gotten his head into him by the Pirates, by the Cubs, by the Braves. You can't do that if you're a great pitcher who's looking to opt out and get a big contract.
Yeah.
So
I am. I'm sorry.
I would not give him the money, Joe. That's to be honest with you. So
But,
no doubt.
Guys, I don't want to take up time. I got to get back to work. I appreciate
Yeah, pal.
it. I am disgusted. Has the Mets fans, any of these Mets fans, have they chimed in tonight, or they just look happy with
The Met fan is happy that I'm telling you, I heard it today on the Boomer and Geo show. Boomer was like, well, at least we had Jeff McNeil win the batting title. And I'm like, he sat out. You didn't win the batting title. You stumbled into it by sitting the guy down. So if that's winning the batting title, Joe, I got a big problem with it.
That's not winning it.
No.
Yeah. In 1941, Ted Williams could have had the title at 400.000 something, but he played a doubleheader. That's what I like in a player.
That's the way to do it, Joe. If you're going to lose it like a man. If you're going to win it, go and win it the right way.
Guys, thanks so much. Have a great night.
Oh, love having you, Joe. Talk to you soon, pal.
See you later,
thanks,
man.
Guys. Bye.
See you, Joe.
Bye.
That's Joe Gansas. That's our buddy popping in. So we talked about a little more baseball, but let's get back to the football sense of it, Jeff. We've been talking football a little bit. Let's go back. We were talking about the AFC North, and one surprising team there, Jeff, is Indianapolis at 1-2-1. I think we both, at least I did. I had a little more faith in Frank Reich and that team bringing over Matt Ryan and playing a much better game, and it hasn't transpired.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. What could you say about that team? Is it Frank Reich? Is it the team? Is it the general manager? I don't know, but I know this much, that the coach ends up paying the price.
Oh, yeah.
For when things aren't going good, and that's not good for Frank Reich.
I would say he's on the hot seat at this point, Jeff. I think if that team don't turn it around, I think he's looking for a new job next year.
And listen, you got to think too. I like, where do you even start? You had Carson Wentz. You had the guy that retired from the Chargers. What the fuck was his name, man? Holy shit, man! See here today, gone.
Oh, Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers. Now you got what do you call it, Matt Ryan, and it's like, well, who do you want as quarterback to help get this team turned around? And evidently you're not the quarterback whisperer that you thought you were. Or you're not getting the most out of your quarterbacks. That's for damn sure. So, to me, I don't know. It's not looking very good.
No, and they need to turn that around quick. And they get this week.
Is Indianapolis the new Denver as far as not being able to find a quarterback?
Well, it's great you say that. They're actually playing to each other right now. And, the problem is, I think with some of these teams, Jeff, is they're banking on veteran guys who haven't played real well the last few years, turning their careers around with supposedly better teams. I mean, Russell Wilson has not been great up in Seattle, but he's been blaming the offensive line. He's blaming the defense, the coach. He goes to Denver and has not played well. And Matt Ryan and Atlanta have not been a good team since they blew the Super Bowl a few years back. They bring him over thinking, okay, he's got one more run in it. And Jeff, it's what's showing right now is these veteran quarterbacks who've been on the decline on bad teams have not, done any better on different teams that are supposed to be better.
No. First of all, I think that a lot of these teams, like let's take the Colts.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think that they were Super Bowl contender ready anyway.
No, but I thought they would win the division.
Wentz or whatever, because they were in a weak division.
Correct. That's the point. Yeah.
So to me, you got Matt Ryan, but why do you want? How old is Matt Ryan? Like 36, 37 years old?
Something in that range, yeah.
Why do you want a quarterback that old?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because they thought after last year they had a really good defense, a tremendous running game. They thought they were one good quarterback, not a great quarterback, one good quarterback away from being a contending team. And instead of drafting a guy and almost starting all over again, they tried to to make the easy way and get a guy who maybe could be a good game manager.
Yeah, but you need listen. I know some people may disagree. You need a little bit more than a game manager.
I
You
agree.
need to have somebody that's capable of playing and doing what he has to do.
Uh-huh.
And I just don't see Matt Ryan being in that realm at this point in time of his life and his career. I'm not saying he's an awful quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not saying that he's capable of reaching back and doing some of the things that he was once able to do. Now, that being said,
Mhm.
you have when you have a team like the Indianapolis Colts, and they had some of the quarterbacks that they have had
Right.
in the past, Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning.
Yep.
It's hard to compare to some of the quarterbacks of today to those guys, but I think it also shows how football teams are just going to start grasping at straws, and how instead of maybe raising your own quarterback, so to speak, that you just want to you're just like, okay, let's try him.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Yeah, that's just it. Nobody wants to develop a quarterback. They want to take a ready-made guy who may be on the downside of his career, but has enough left in the tank and try to sneak out a win with that. But tell me where that's ever worked. Tell me where that's worked anywhere.
Well, listen, somewhere it's going to work somewhere, Tom.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. But I haven't seen it. I have not seen it work yet so far.
And everybody else's definition of success is two different things.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree.
So maybe some people think of success is winning the Super Bowl. Maybe some are making the playoffs. Maybe some are finishing with a better than 500 record. I don't know. When you're dealing with some of the names that have played quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts over the last 5 years, as a matter of fact, who was there before Phillip Rivers? Do you remember?
Was it Peyton Manning?
No, Peyton Manning left, and then they drafted Luck.
Right. So it was Luck. All right, so let's
Jacoby Brissett.
Maybe, yeah. Let's see. Indy. I'm gonna get you Indy.
Because I was gonna just say, to finish my statement while you're looking at this, think of who played quarterback in the last 5 seasons. You're talking Rivers, Wentz, and now Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe one of them had to be Jacoby Brissett.
It was. You're absolutely right. So here it is. You want the list?
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so I'll go how far back? Okay, so this year's Matt Ryan, last year Carson Wentz, the year before is Phillip Rivers. 2019 was Jacoby Brissett, Brian Hoyer. 17 was Jacoby Brissett, Scott Tolzien. 2016 is Andrew Luck, Scott Tolzien. 2015, Matt Hasselbeck, Andrew Luck, and Josh Freeman. 3 years of Andrew Luck takes us back to 2011. Curtis Painter, Dan Orlovsky, and Kerry Collins. And finally, 2010 was the last year of Peyton Manning. So since Peyton Manning left in 2010, you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 starting quarterbacks.
12 starting quarterbacks, okay?
In
and
12
three
years.
of them that were in the league for several years apiece that have one Super Bowl between them.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So, you got to think of that too. And he lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So listen, again, I think sometimes you take a shot at trying something new, old that doesn't work. And that's really what you're going through right now with Indy. They tried it with Carson Wentz. It didn't work. They tried it now with Matt Ryan, and it's not working. And it could cost Frank Reich his job. To be honest with you, I don't know whose decision it is, if it's the general manager or whatever, but somebody's going to pay the price in there. But Jeff, in the AFC North, it's even more confusing. You got 3 teams with Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland at 2-2, and you got the Pittsburgh Steelers at 1-3. And Pittsburgh's already moved on to the Kenny Pickett era, so that might not get any better in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin maybe look at his first losing season.
I don't see anything getting better for Pittsburgh, to be honest with you. I just didn't see that working out very well with Mitch Trubisky. I don't know. Listen, he got run out of Chicago, right? He got run out of Buffalo, he was just a backup, and now here he is. You try him once again, and it's like, come on.
Yeah.
The guy isn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
He's not. If he was, he wouldn't have been through Buffalo and Chicago if he was going to do something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, listen, again, I think they might have been better off just going to Kenny Pickett, but who knows if he was ready. But I think the surprising thing, Jeff, for me is Cincinnati has not been the same team. A little bit of that that bug of teams that lose the Super Bowl that also fall off the next year. And I think you were right last year. I think this might have been just a Cinderella team last year. That's not quite ready.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I can't say anything more about it other than what I said, because I didn't say it from the beginning. And that is how I felt when I thought about Cincinnati. I just didn't think. I thought that by now Cleveland would have been a team that would have been a perennial winner year after year. Pittsburgh, you knew that Roethlisberger was getting older. It seems as though they didn't want to do anything to, figure out what was going to happen, and they just played them to the ground.
Yep.
Cincinnati was never really a great team. He had a couple good years with Boomer Esiason, and and it just never took off, that team. It always seemed like, even with Kenny Anderson, they were just never a great team. Yeah, they made the Super Bowl, but they weren't much of a threat. And listen, they're kind of done, I think. And now with Joe Burrow, I like Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is a great quarterback in this league, but Joe Burrow's getting fucking pummeled, man.
I still haven't fixed that offensive line good enough yet.
Yeah, no, and that's not going to help his cause, man, at all.
No, and again, they've got some talent on that team. There's a lot of Mixon and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. There's a lot of talent on the team and some on defense, but the offensive line is still not good. They still have some issues on defense. Again, that's a division that team should probably win going away. And right now they're in a three-way tie with a bad Cleveland team, as far as I'm concerned, and a very questionable Baltimore team. And Pittsburgh, surprisingly, is in the bottom, pulling up the rear with the gear. So,
listen, that's all well and good. All right, that's fine. That's like a team that, that division's not going to feel the wild card winner this year. Let's put it that way.
No, definitely not.
And you may end up getting somebody that's going to be 7-10 in that division. We don't know.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I would not doubt it. We'll pay attention. It's only, like you said, it's only going into week 5 of the season, and there should be some great games this weekend. Maybe we'll run through some a little before the show's over. But I want to go back to the baseball before I talk about Tua, because we played the two calls, but I didn't get any. I wanted a little talking point from you on them. Do you want to hear them again? Do you remember? You're good with it? What did you think of the home run call from TV and from radio?
Let's play the home. Let's play them again, man, because it set a record.
All right, so I'm going to play the TV call, and then you'll give me your breakdown of it, and I'll give you mine.
Left field, right field seats are jammed. People looking to grab that home run number 62. There's a strike, 1-1. Judge hitting .310 after the one hit in game 1. High fly ball, deep left. There it goes, soaring into history. He's done it. He has done it. 62. Aaron Judge is the American League single-season home run leader. The AL King. Case closed.
Okay, so what did you think of the call, Jeff?
I didn't think it was much different than an average home run call in a big game. I think it should have been a little bit more special. I think what made it special was the crowd. I'll give the props to the crowd. They were behind that home run 110%.
Yep.
You just heard them getting louder and louder the more that ball traveled. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
Like hit it on the road.
Yep.
If that was the reaction they got on the road, man, I would have loved to have seen him hit that at Yankee Stadium.
They would have tore the place down. It
Oh.
would have been so loud it would have tore the place down. I agree with
Yeah.
that. Yeah. My one thing, it sounded too like the guy had basically, I would love to have had it where he just kind of fell out of his lips. It almost sounded like he was reading it off. And the other thing I wish that the teammates would not have come to home plate. They should have let him get the home plate and be by himself. And, I'm saying he deserved that 5 or 10 seconds getting the home plate, crossing, looking up at the crowd and waving instead of immediately greeting his teammates. But again, that's nitpicking.
You know what, Tom? I guess it's a road game.
Yep.
It's near the end of the season. It took a lot off of everybody.
Yeah.
So listen, they were all, by that time, they were all part of it. They're fighting for the division. They're fighting to get into the playoffs. Everything that was going on around them, that was all secondary. Everything was Aaron Judge in 62.
Oh, absolutely.
He finally hit it. He finally got there. So you know what? Let them all take a little bit in there. And not for nothing, you're on the road. Your teammates. Maybe Judge told them. So listen, maybe they asked him ahead of time, "Do you want us out there?"
Yeah, very possible.
Turned around and said, "Listen, I want everybody out there with me, man. I want everything. I want you all."
Anything's possible. It was a good call. I don't think it was a great call. It's not one of those calls that 20 years from now or 30 years from now that you'll go, "Wow, that was a really good call. He did a nice job." Well, let's get the radio call.
Like when Phil Rizzuto, if that was Phil Rizzuto, would have started off with a "Holy cow."
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's get the radio call, which John Sterling's got his typical way of starting out a call, and he does that. But let's compare.
Judges hunt for the record, presented by Tri-State Cadillac Dealers.
Here's the 1-1. Swung on. There it goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Number 62 to set the new American League record. Aaron Judge hits his 62nd. All the Yankees out of the dugout to greet him. Just think of it. 3 Yankee right fielders. The Babe hitting 60 and 27. The Jolly Roger hitting 61 and 61. And now Aaron Judge hits his 62nd home run, the most home runs any American leaguer has hit in a single season. And the American League has been alive for 120 years. This is Judgment Day. Case closed.
All right, Jeff, that was the radio call by longtime Yankee announcer John Sterling. What are your thoughts?
The radio call was definitely better than the television call, without a doubt. I like the way that he did it. I like the little history that he put in there.
I thought that was nice, putting the 3 right fielders. I thought that was a nice touch.
And I would also, we'd have to go back and look, which wouldn't be too hard to do. He said the American League is 120 years old. Babe Ruth set the record with 60. Well, he hit 60 in 1927, but I know that he was putting up the record before that. So the New York Yankees have held the American League home run record.
Wow, yeah.
For how many years?
It's probably over 100 years.
And that, to me,
that's interesting. Wow, that's an interesting take.
Is an amazing fucking thought, man.
Jeff, that is something I've never heard anybody else bring up. I think that's absolutely a fantastic thought process that 3 Yankee right fielders have basically held the American League record for over 100 years.
Well, I'm going to check that. Well, I'm going to look that up right now as we're talking. I have to.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. I did like John Sterling's better. I know that you get a little more on the visual with Kay, and he's going to let the play take it a little bit, but I just thought Sterling did a better job than Michael Kay's call. So, but I wanted to get them out there for us to talk about since I didn't get that up for the 61.
Yeah, it's man. I don't think we're gonna. Okay, here we go. As far as the record goes,
Yep.
Babe Ruth hit 59 in 1921.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Now, who was he playing for at the time? Was it with the Yankees or was it?
New York Yankees.
Okay.
So there was Aaron Judge, 62 in the Maris Ruth, then Ruth in 1921. I don't know who had it in 1920. 1920 was Babe Ruth with 54.
Okay.
So now we're looking for 1919. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. I can't find 1919. So it may have to do this off the air. There's a chance that I blew past it. So what did I say? It's 54 and 1921.
Yes.
All right. So 1920. So in 2020 was 100 years. So it certainly looks as though Babe Ruth did 54 in 1928.
Okay. So I can go back. Hold on a second. So now I'm
So
with you.
basically, it looks since 1920, it looks as though that a New York Yankee has held the all-time home run record.
Well, let's say, yeah. So I would say Babe Ruth let's see. So I don't know what the record is at that point, but I'm going to have to assume that you guys are hitting 16, 17. So yeah, Jeff, you got it. I think actually, yeah. So it looks like 1919, Babe hit 29 homer, but that was for Boston. So I think you're right. 1920, 54 obviously is the most anybody's ever hit. And that's, yeah. So 1920, the Yankees have held the record of most home runs in a season. Wow. So 102 years we were on the money. Wow,
So since 1901, real quick, Nat
Sure.
Lajoie.
Yeah.
1902, Sox Siebold. Buck Freeman in 03, Harry Davis 04, Harry Davis again in 05, and 06, and 07. Sam Crawford in 08, Ty Cobb 09, Jake Stahl 10, Frank Baker in 11, Frank Baker and Trish Speaker in 12, Frank Baker 13, 14, Brago Roth with 7, hitting a crisp 7 home runs.
Wow.
In 1915, Wally Pipp in 16, 17, and 18, Babe Ruth with 11. In 1919, the year my grandmother was born. I don't know about your grandma, but I know mine was born in 1919. 29 home runs.
Yeah.
With the Boston Red Sox, and then Yankee supremacy started in 1920 and has been going straight through for 102 years.
Wow.
Which is unbelievable. And just real quick,
sure.
I'm just going to name Yankees. All right. From 1920 on, there's 1 Ruth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1931 was Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Okay. Wow. 1934, Lou Gehrig. 1936, Lou Gehrig. 1937, DiMaggio. Wow. And I mean, this is just looking for the names, New York names that we know. Yeah. 1948, DiMaggio. Man, wow. 1955, 56, Mantle. 58, Mantle. 60, Mantle. 61, Maris.
Yeah.
And man, unbelievable. And there hasn't been Reggie Jackson. Well, that was when he was
yeah. You go 76 for Greg Nettles.
Yeah. 70. Yeah. And they give the runners up here too, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, they give the runners up. I'm not going to go through that, but
yeah.
One thing I'm definitely going to save this page because I want to go with the Babe Ruth years. When Ruth, 27, 28, 29, 30, the runner-up, Gehrig. Wow. Man, wow. Imagine that.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right. Wow. Man. Well, listen, great stuff right there, right?
It's funny. There's a guy in the from 1911, 12, 13, and 14. His name is Home Run Baker. So that must have meant like he hit a lot of homer. Yeah. Frank Home Run Baker. He hit 11, 10, 12, and 9. And
yeah, it's pretty sick.
And he's Home Run Baker. Could you imagine?
Yeah, well, listen, back then it's a completely different story. I'm making my way back home here.
Okay. All right.
It's the home run may be the single greatest thing that you could watch in baseball.
I said for a single play, I would have to agree with you. I would have to agree with you for a single. I mean, maybe the closest thing would be a game-winning field goal.
No,
It'd be the closest. I didn't say it equals it, but that's the closest outside of a sport.
I'll tell you why. Okay, the closest thing that could ever rival it would be a hole-in-one.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
The reason I say that is because when you're baseball, you're up at the plate. Okay, you're the only person from your team on that field.
Yep.
Okay. When you're playing basketball, there's 4 other guys. When you're playing hockey, there's 4 other guys plus a goalie.
Right.
When you're playing football, there's 10 other guys on your team. So nothing is being done by yourself. Everybody else has to do what they're doing in order for you to make that achievement. And the same thing when you're playing the field in baseball. Nobody can help you other than you turn in a double play or a triple play. Everything else is, every man for himself. So when you watch a guy hit a home run, and especially somebody that crushes one. And by the way, that pitch that was became 1-1 to Aaron Judge, the pitch before he hit the home run.
Yep.
Notice that guy threw the ball. That was a good pitch too.
Oh, that's a very good pitch.
I'm surprised he didn't swing at that one, man.
Well, it was funny. I was watching it live. My wife was sitting next to me. She was out cold, and I'm watching the game. And he threw the first one. I went, you got to swing at that one. You're never going to get another pitch like that. And the next pitch was in the same exact spot, maybe even better. You said it right. The minute he hit it, you could have had your eyes closed. You knew that was a home run.
Oh, just the sound.
Just the sound. There is no better sound. If you're a baseball fan or if you played the game, the sound when the ball makes it to the bat. When it's perfect, there is nothing like it, and it's indescribable. And it's you don't even have to get to see it. You just know the sound. And I'm watching it, and I'm going, a home run. That was it. And it didn't matter anything else after that.
As soon as he hit it, you heard it, and then you heard the stadium. I would have loved to have been in the stadium, man. That thing must have been fucking rocking.
Yeah.
Okay, and just to hear that crowd get more and more excited as that ball traveled further and further.
Yep.
And it wasn't some cheap ass home run.
No.
It was a home run.
Yep.
Matter of fact, who was it just hit? I think it was like a 547-foot shot, like the last day of the season. I saw them. They played it. It was in Oakland. He hit it in Oakland. I forget who it was.
I don't know if it was. I think it was Mike Trout.
It might have been. Yeah, it was Mike Trout.
Yeah.
It was his 40th home run of the year.
Yes, correct.
And he hit it like a fucking mile and a half, man.
Correct, yes.
That would have been the only thing that would have made that better.
Again, yes. I think had it been a majestic, 495-foot bomb, but this was a no doubt. It's gone. And at the end of the day, you just wanted to get over the wall. You really wanted to see him do it. Even as a Yankee fan, it's just such a nice feeling to watch your guy do it. But he really deserves. He seems like a good guy, whether he's a Yankee or not next year. I was glad that it got done. And again, I just didn't think baseball made enough of a big deal about it. I know why they didn't want to. I get it. But to me, the fact that nobody's legitimately broken that record or without any sort of stain on it for 61 years is pretty impressive.
Well, you know what? It is broken now.
Yes.
Okay? Yep. And it should be recognized. And, I don't know how you would do it, but if you watch that clip of that guy and he said about the fans should make his own assessment of what's the record and what's not. I mean, come on, that's I don't like that answer. I understand what you're saying. You're pretty much saying that, listen, I don't agree with it either, but it's up to the individual to feel as though what he needs.
But it's a cop out, Jeff. It's a cop out.
Yeah. Listen, Tom, you're 100% right. It's a cop out without a doubt.
Yeah.
But still, it's a cop out that what is the right answer? You can't turn around. If you turn around and say that should be stricken from the record. You're going to be struck down yourself.
Oh, yeah, listen,
And
he's
you're
a
gonna
commissioner of baseball. He cannot come out and say
No.
it's the real record or Bonds is not the real record. I get it. Better he don't say anything than what he said, because to me, you're just about saying it should be, it should be the record. So that, to me, that's the problem I have with it. But listen, you will argue this to the end of time. To me, I don't care. I was already in the Roger Maris was the real number camp. I don't think many real baseball fans are going to feel any different.
Well, you know what, Tom? I got to be honest with you. Me, this is where I'm different. Okay. Roger Maris may have had the real record, but it's a guy like Hank Aaron that played how many years? Almost 25 to 30 years he played in the Major League Baseball. And, he wasn't a guy that was hitting 50, 60 home runs a year. Maybe I think the most he ever got was like 44. But he hit consistently for how many years?
Sure.
And he held the record for how many years?
61.
And then Barry Bonds comes along and, beats the record and everything else. And that doesn't sit well with me. To me, Hank Aaron is the all-time home run leader.
Agree.
Yeah,
couldn't agree with you more on that part, pal. I totally agree with you on. As far as I'm concerned,
Hank Aaron was and I'm going to just finish this up, and then I want to bring up the next subject if you don't mind.
Okay.
Hank Aaron was a little guy too. He wasn't a big dude. He was like 5'8" or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wasn't a big guy.
I never knew
He
that.
really wasn't. So, like when you think of a home run hitter, and you look at Hank Aaron. If you look up his stats, I bet you he weighed about 185 pounds.
I'll tell you.
And he was only like 5'8" from what I was told.
Let's see. I don't see height and weight here. Let's see. See how many hits. 3,700 hits. Batted right, throw right. I don't see. They don't give his stats as far as. Let's see if I can find it another way. Hank Aaron, height and weight.
Oh, I'm sorry, 6 foot. They're saying.
Okay, I was gonna say I got 6'1", 180.
No, I looked it up.
I got another one. I got another one, a 6 foot. Yep, I got another one, 6 foot right next to it. Yep, 6 foot. So basically 6 foot, 180 pounds.
Yeah, so 180 pounds. I mean, come on, man. That's not that very.
Yep,
not very heavy, not very muscular, but he was able to hit the ball over 700 times over the fence. But
the interesting part with him was he never had 50 homers in a season.
No.
He just had longevity. Guy stuck around a long time and was very consistent.
But the thing that I want to bring up before it's too late was LeBron James stating that he wants a basketball team in Las Vegas. I'm a firm believer if you don't let the inmates run the prison.
I'm with you on that one.
And already, who was he to dictate that you want a team in Las Vegas? If that's what you want to do, then what you need to do is retire from basketball so you could concentrate on being an owner.
Right.
And then, submit a proposal to the league and do it the right way. Not already let your intentions be known that, okay, I'm going to retire soon. And I want to be able to lead the charge into the desert.
Right.
I just feel as though that, he has too much power within the NBA.
Oh, absolutely.
And he shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff. That's
100%. 100%. And listen, I think for years, Las Vegas was like the leper colony. Nobody wanted to have their sport there. They're afraid of betting. Now it's wide open. And with the success of the Golden Knights in hockey, and of course the Raiders moving over there, it's only a matter of time before basketball and baseball have teams set up in Las Vegas. There's too much money involved.
Yeah, but as far as baseball goes, does baseball usually puts a team out in twos? No.
Yeah, they do tend to do it that way, and it's probably the smart way. I mean, otherwise you have an unbalanced schedule. If you
where's the other spot going to be?
That's a great question. They've talked about that for a long time. There's been talk of Nebraska. There's been talk of Nebraska having a team.
What is the population in fucking Nebraska?
Yeah. Well, see, the problem is there's 1, 2, 3 teams in this. You have Tampa, you have Miami in Florida, and neither one of those teams are getting any sort of a fan base. So they're talking about moving those teams out of Florida.
All right. So you know what? Here's a couple ideas.
Okay.
Just see what you think. Okay. There's nothing up in the Northwest. Okay, other than Seattle. What about maybe like Idaho? Is there a spot for baseball in Idaho? What about Tennessee? You got the Titans.
Yeah, it's
you know, a lot of people are relocating to Tennessee. Do you put a baseball team in Tennessee?
Interesting. That's one I never thought of. But yeah, that's not have a Nashville team or something. I think the likelihood of, instead of two new teams, what you might wind up seeing eventually is the two teams in Florida being pulled out of there, or at least one of them, and relocated to maybe a Tennessee or a Vegas. I don't see them adding any more teams. I know I've heard that there might be, but I think football is looking to expand before baseball is right now.
What's on the other side of Texas, on the western side of Texas? Do you know?
I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, that
Las
would
Vegas?
No, I want to say that's New Mexico. Let's see when I get.
I don't think that there's enough. I don't think they have enough population to sustain a team over there in New Mexico.
Let's see. I got the map up here, Jeff. I'll tell you. On the other side of Texas is Santa Fe, New Mexico. Yes, you got Texas, Mexico, Arizona, and then you bump into California, and then right above California is
Portland and Washington.
Vegas, and then you work your way up to Portland and all of those states. On the other side of that is Louisiana, Mississippi. On the other side, Arkansas. You could get a team in that area. It's a big minor league baseball town.
Yeah, it's a lot of minor leagues, a lot of more college and high school stuff, sports in that area of the league. But that may be only because they don't have the population to sustain.
Yeah,
if they're going to move a team out of Florida, I don't see them putting a team over there. That it's not going to work. I feel.
Yeah, well, what they tried to do was split the season for Tampa Bay, half the year in Montreal and then the other half in Tampa, which really made no sense to me. But they tried to do that, and I think the Players Association balked at it, and it went away.
Well, I don't understand how when certain sports leagues, like especially hockey, did it. They used to have the Atlanta Flames.
Yes.
The only team named after a natural disaster, by the way.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Or the original team to be
the
named.
original saying, I just thought of it. Just changed Hurricanes now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolina.
But so they moved them out of Atlanta. So what did they do years later? They put the Atlanta Thrashers there.
Correct.
It's like stupid. They took the Winnipeg Jets out of Winnipeg, made them the Phoenix Coyotes.
Yeah.
So what they do, they put the Winnipeg Jets back there.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't fathom that idea.
I agree with you. If it didn't work the first time, it's probably not going to work the second time.
Edmonton, there's like 4 people that live in Edmonton. They leave a hockey team up there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a really good, interesting take on that, Jeff. I agree with you on that one.
Just pretty like, what the fuck, man?
All right, I want one more quick topic, and then we'll call it a night, Jeff. It's been a great show. We've had a lot of people popping up. It's always a lot of fun when people follow along with us. What's your take on the Tua situation? Now, the first game, he gets hurt. Supposedly, he goes into the tent, talks his way into the game by saying, I hurt my back. It wasn't my head. The neurologist clears him for the next game. He goes out and plays, and we all have that Thursday. It was a Thursday night game or Monday night game where his fingers kind of curled up and all of that. Now they fired the independent neurologist. They fired the team doctor. Yet the guy who lied about it got no trouble. Don't you think? To me, first off, shouldn't Tua have gotten suspended for lying about his health? If it's that big a deal, and you're going to fire everybody around him who missed it because he lied to them, don't you got to do something to the guy who lies?
That's a hard one, Tom. That's a hard one, and I'll tell you why I feel as though it's a hard one. Okay, I mean that you're going to agree with me. Tua, from what we know, we have to go with the knowledge of that he talked his way back into the game.
100%, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't have much in the way of medical experience. I hardly have the knowledge to put on a Band-Aid the correct way.
Okay.
Okay. But even I knew that when Tua stumbled, that it was definitely not a back problem. And if it was a back problem, it's somebody that if you've ever pulled a muscle in your back, the last thing you're going to do is look to go play football. I don't give a fuck who you are because you can't play football.
Nope.
Okay. It's going to be virtually impossible.
Yep.
So for the doctor to turn around and be like, unless he was like, listen, okay, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then when he got knocked the fuck out, okay, because that's exactly what happened to him, man. That boy got knocked the fuck out. And just to show you, if you remember the injury, his elbow and arm hit first, then his head hit.
Yes.
So he blocked. I'm not going to say blocked, but he absorbed a lot of impact before his head even hit the turf.
Yeah.
And he still got knocked out.
Yep. 100%.
We're talking a shot and a half.
Yeah.
That when he got back in the tent over there, he might not even have known his name or where the fuck he was. You don't know.
Yeah.
But with everything that goes on in the NHL and NFL, with some of these guys that are bugging out and and all the shit that the problems they have later on in life, if that guy gets hit a head injury, what they should do is quite simple: change the rule. Head injury, you're out, and we're not even going to assess you for playing until the next day. Any assessment that we make of you determines if you're going to the hospital or if you're just going to go and wait for the team, go in the shower.
Right.
That's the only assessment that should happen at game time. Then after that, they should be mandatory CAT scans, whatever it is that they got to do before that guy gets okay to go back on the field. When you're talking, the guy that hit him in that second shot was a 340-pound defensive lineman.
Right.
Who came down with him and on him.
Yeah.
After drilling his shoulder and arm into the fucking turf, then hit his head into the turf. You're talking 340 pounds on top of it. Yeah. The guy lucky that he could fucking spell Tua at this point in time.
I agree. But at some point, you have to hold the athlete. If you're going to fire everybody around him, there's got to be something to hold the player accountable for not telling you the truth. That's one. But the second thing, Jeff, and this will I'll end it with you, is there's a lot of people I heard on TV today, all week I should say, who blamed the coach and said the coach, even though this is Chris Mandel Russo said it. He said even though the team doctor and the independent doctors cleared him to play, the coach should have said, I'm not playing you for at least another week. And I disagree with him because you're the coach of a team. You're not a doctor. You have no ability to know whether the guy's healthy or not. To me, I have no problem with Mike McDaniel, who's the coach of the Dolphins, following what the team doctors and the player and everybody else are saying that the guy's good to go. What's your thought?
I don't like that. I don't like that because if the doctor got talked out of telling him that he couldn't go in the game, then what difference does it make what the coach says or not says?
Right.
Okay. If the coach should just turn around and be a human being and say, listen, you're not playing. That's it. That's why the rules should be changed where there's a head injury on the field. No problem. What you're going to do is you're done.
Done. Yeah.
You're done for the game.
Yep.
We're gonna evaluate you, send you to the hospital, let you go home. That's it. Then after that, then you have to follow protocol. It took them years to get a little bullshit tent on the field.
Yeah.
Okay. And the coach should have turned around at that point in time and said, listen, it's week 3. Go in the locker room and sit there. That's it. You're in your 3rd year, whatever it is, 3rd or 4th year of 3rd week of the season, and you're arguing with me to get back in there. Get the fuck out. You're done. You're done. That's it.
Okay. That's it. Interesting take. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just don't. If you're Mike McDaniel, you're coaching an entire football game. You have 52 other players, coaches, owners, fans. If you're not sure about a player's health and the team doctor, the person gets paid to check on these things, says the guy's good to go, I don't know how you can blame the coach, but I don't disagree with you. I think there should be an almost automatic. You're out for a week. Doesn't matter. You're out that game, and you gotta convince us by Saturday the following week that you're ready to play Sunday.
I'll tell you something else too. I think a lot of it has to do with the amount of people on the roster. What they should do is the NFL should turn around and tell the teams, this is the amount of people you can have on the roster.
Right.
This is the breakdown. Okay. You can have three. You are going to carry 3 quarterbacks. So you're going to bring 3 quarterbacks to each game. There should be no, well, you have 53 spots on the roster,
right,
but you have 57 players you could carry or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And some of these players, they sit at home or whatever.
Yep.
No. You're allowed to carry X amount of players. This is the breakdown. 6 receivers, 3 tight ends, 3 quarterbacks, 1 punter, 1 kicker, whatever the breakdown is.
Right.
You fill in that roster. So that guy travels with you. I think a lot of these guys push to go back in because they're like, well, one, some of them are on the bubble and they got to show that they're tough and that they could play.
Yep.
Second is some of them just feel as though that if their team loses,
yep,
they're going to lose that. They're going to have that stigma that he didn't go back in. He wasn't tough. But it doesn't matter. It's just a brain injury.
Yeah.
This is a fucking brain injury. This isn't a bruise on your fucking on your throwing arm.
Yeah. No.
You don't have a fucking black and blue down your whole fucking thigh or your whole upper arm. You're talking about brain injury. That's why these guys eat pudding and think it's steak when they're fucking 50 years old. They don't know.
Yeah, really. No, I got you. I think you have to bend over backwards, but I think until you change the rules, you can't let the players. You can't let them have a say, and if you're going to let them have a say, if you know they're lying to you, they have to pay a consequence to it.
This is the only say when it comes to an injury to player, especially for the amount that you're paying these guys.
Yep.
Okay, you got a head injury, minimum, you're out of the game. That's it.
Yes.
You're out.
Yep.
Okay,
I agree. Yeah.
The NFL needs to step up. You're out of the game. That's one thing. Second of all, I know that you'll get guys like Matt and Frank that'll turn around and say, "Oh no." Listen, it's a game.
Yep.
It's a fucking game. It's not a war. It's not, capturing territories. It's a game.
Yep.
Bottom line, that's the end of it. You get injured in the game. If you broke your leg, you're not going to go back in and play if the bone is sticking out. So until it's determined that you're good, you're out. That's it. They got to do the right thing.
Yeah. No, I agree.
With football being at an all-time high,
mm-hmm.
with everything involved with football, from jerseys to fantasy football to video games, apparel, everything, you need to show the right example for the kids. If you get hurt, don't be afraid to say that you can't play.
Yeah.
You can't play because what are you going to do? You're not going to be able to do anything if you can't spell your own name somewhere down the line.
Couldn't agree with you more, my friend. Couldn't agree with you more, but we'll leave it right there. It's another great show in the books, Jeff. This one was a ton of fun. We had a lot of people participate. This was a good one.
It always is, man.
It always is. That's right. So, guys, I want to take the time to thank you. So I want to thank my dad, Joe Gansas, for popping up. Thanks to everybody online. Lou Pica, Matt Salitri, Anthony Carey. I don't forget people. I'm trying to think who else was popping up today. But whoever you are, my friend Big Rob from work, Mike Weissman, thank you for popping up. But again, thanks to my brother, who never makes an appearance anymore. He popped up for a little while. So thanks to everybody who did and paid attention to us online. We'll be back next week. Next week, we'll have Ronnie Monroe, ex Metal Church, and a bunch of other bands. Currently, the lead singer of Monroe's Thunder, a new band he put together. And he currently signed with the RFL Records label. So I'm looking forward to that. He had to cancel this week because he had some issues in his personal life, but he will be on with us next week when Jeff and I get together. So remember this Sunday morning, the Sunday Audible, probably starting a little early, but look for us around 9 a.m. We'll probably try to start the show a little early since the Giants are on at 9:30 in the morning, and I want to be watching the game. So
Oh, God, here we go.
that's right. I want to watch a winning team. So, and of course, real quick, the Hard Rocket Sports fantasy football team took a little bit of a beating from our friend John Hefker and his the Red Zone Invasion.
Little bit.
But we'll be looking to bounce back this week when we face Matt's matchless team. We're in third place.
If we break 100 points, it's a victory.
There you go.
Man, we got fucking beat.
Yeah, we did get beat, so it's all right. We'll come back this week.
If this was the NFL, somebody would be getting fired right now.
Yes, we'd have an interim head coach right now.
Yeah.
So, but we had our owners meeting. We had an emergency owners meeting on Wednesday, and we made some subtle changes. We'll see how it pans out this week. But we're hanging in there. It's a long way to go.
Did anybody contact you over our latest signing?
No. I check the message boards every day. Nothing there.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that nobody picked up on that. I'm surprised that nobody had been like, "Oh, what is this? What is this?"
Yeah, no, quiet, all quiet. So we did some stashing away. We'll devote some time to this down the road. But for now, like I said, you guys, it's been a great show, and I'm looking forward to another week of baseball kicking off the playoffs, and of course Sunday NFL action. My Nebraska Cornhuskers are in town playing Rutgers tomorrow night. I was half thinking about trying to go to the game, but probably not going to happen. So anyway, in the meantime, I'll give Jeff the final word.
No, listen, we are done here, man.
All right, guys. Again, so make sure for Jeff Tolwinski, Tom Florio, and everybody here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, thanks for tuning in. Please have a safe night, a great weekend, an amazing week. Come back next Thursday when Jeff and I interview Ronnie Monroe, and we talk a lot of sports and music right here. So, Jeff, have a good night, pal. I'll catch you off the air.
You got it, dude. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, pal. Good night. And